a full show to do, but we got a jam-packed show, so we'll make sure we get everything in. We also will get into, of course, more reaction from the 2024 SEC schedule release when Texas will have their inaugural season into the SEC. We'll get into that. Also, some other news, notes, and nuggets. We'll go behind the burnt orange curtain a little bit and talk some other Texas football items. Also, we'll talk little Cowboys on the show. Dan Orlovsky says he has noticed in his film study a little pattern, a trend about the interceptions for Dak Prescott. We'll get into that in the 4 o'clock hour. Also, Dan Quinn, really high on this Cowboys defense. We'll get into that, and also some mini camp nuggets from the Texans. Also, we'll get into some NBA offseason rumors, conjecture all the time. We'll get into that. Also about Zion. There's some Zion Williamson rumors out there about him being on the trade market. We'll address that as well. Before we do, let's introduce you to the rest of the crew. He was a second-round pick for the Montreal Expos, but a first-round pick for the Austin Radio Network. He originally committed to the University of Texas, but decided to forego the 40 acres and chase his dream in the cheese. Pimpin' ain't easy, but for this man, it's a breeze. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike Hardball Hard. What's going on, brother?
What it do, what it do. It's a Thursday edition, new theme Thursday edition, so we got to be on our game again. We got our black card back yesterday. I'm really excited about that, giving ourselves an opportunity to watch Shaft again. You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure we make it through. But let me talk about my man that sits across from me every single day. He hails from H-Town with the Get Down. He's a lifetime Longhorn and a proud card-carrying member of DBU. Legendary lifetime and now college football Hall of Fame Longhorn, Derek Johnson, said he was the best cover corner he had ever seen. He's a former NFL DB that still has that passion for film study, but he's not a fan of white condiments. But, of course, he is a fan of you, the listeners. He is my man and yours, Rod Babels.
I appreciate that intro, as always. That's not a waste any time introducing the real MVP, one of the hardest-working members of the ARN family. He's got a hustler spirit, period. We don't know what the man is paid, but we're pretty damn sure this man is underpaid, and we're going to miss him when he takes vacation, which is coming up soon. It's Patrick Davis, y'all. What's going on, Patrick?
Oh, I'm going to not miss any of it. Just going to sit on a beach.
You ain't supposed to. You ain't supposed to. We're supposed to miss you. You ain't supposed to miss us. You on vacation. We still here working.
That's
You're
right.
supposed to enjoy.
I will miss it next Thursday when there's a draft going on and I'm not here. That I'll miss.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
That's when you follow me on Twitter, because I'm sure I'll just be yelling out random stuff.
I'm sure we'll get random texts on the text
for
chain
sure.
from you during the show on that day. But that'll be coming up a little bit later on. But we do have our man Patrick, so we appreciate him. We appreciate you as well. You can be a part of the show. You're the heartbeat of this thing. So do it on the Specs text line 512-337-3776. You also can hit us up via Twitter. I'm at Rod Davis in the Twitterverse. Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis in the Twitterverse. All right, gentlemen, we got into this yesterday because we were actually on the show when the SEC schedule release extravaganza happened, and they actually revealed the Longhorn schedule. And now we've had plenty of time to digest the Longhorns 2024 schedule. And, one of the things that I saw that if you're looking at all the rivalries that the SEC decided to keep together, you can tell and this is like macro, not just about Texas, and we'll get back to, of course, the Texas schedule in particular. But if you look at all the rivalries that are going to take place in 2024 in the newly expanded SEC, in addition to Texas OU, of course, and Texas A&M, you got Auburn, Alabama, Bama, Tennessee, Bama, LSU is considered one, Florida, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, Ole Miss, of course, and, Mississippi State do their thing. But you got Arkansas versus A&M, which some people think, maybe that's something that could end up becoming a rivalry. Texas A&M does get their LSU. If they consider that to be a rival, some people are already saying that's one of the young rivalries in the SEC. You get that. Tennessee, Vanderbilt, all right, of course. Hell, even Arkansas, LSU, which I'm sure Arkansas fans consider that. You can tell that they prioritize the rivalries, and not even talking about Texas playing all three of their rivals in the schedule. That's what I think is kind of baked into the process for the SEC. And you can argue maybe that's where everything starts. That's why I know, at one point, inevitably, it's going to go to a 3-6 format.
It has to.
Where they'll have 3 permanent, teams you play, which will be, your de facto rivals, and then you'll have the 6 teams that rotate, and that'll be kind of your glamour games because it'll be every year kind of a lottery. Oh man, who are we going to play this year? Because you won't have divisions in the SEC, so that'll be really fun. But when you look at it, the rivalries to me are really one of the key components to what makes college football special. The more you have, the better. You're talking about competitive hatred.
Yes.
And the SEC wants to feed it. It's almost the old Gordon Gekko line from Wall Street, greed is good. He was speaking, if you have heard the line in the speech, he was talking about greed is good for capitalism, which it is. I mean, the capitalism is based on trying to incentivize kind of a natural drive, which is greed. All right, we fight against it, so it doesn't always get the better of us, but it's something that's kind of natural. Capitalism kind of feeds on it, so you can create wealth and then create jobs and commerce. And if you are greedy enough, you become a billionaire. That's great. It's good for everybody. It's also good for capitalism. Competitive hatred, that angst is really good for college football, and the SEC right now is feeding it. They really want to infuse that element, or at least they want to, I think, expand on that element and that component in college football.
Well, I think it's great for the fan bases as well. We can sit here and say that we don't want to play, we don't want to do this, and other fan bases, we don't know who our rival is. Everybody thinks they have a certain rival. But when you watch the games and you see the intensity from the fan bases as well, it means something to a lot of people. It's the conversation always happens, no matter where it is. I mean, think about our city right now. There's people that are here from all different walks of life, especially when you think about all the people from California that has moved here, the people from New York, all Florida, some of them, but they're transplanted. But when college football games are being played, they have their fan bases where they're having meetups to be able to root for their team. And we've seen it multiple times when we've been out on our pregame shows, when we've been at Lavaca Street, where all these people come in and you're like, man, Clemson got a whole section that we didn't even know about, where people are here and they are playing their rival, and then people walking by screaming at each other about it. So when people say, oh, it don't matter who we're playing, no, it does. It really does, because the vitriol that you see, that, like as you said, the competitive hatred against each other's teams. But on Monday we go to work and talk about how bad it was, right? My team is terrible. Well, your team did terrible too. It's just it's the part of the fabric of college athletics. And yeah, people are always talking about the NFL, but college athletics, everybody has something involved in it.
Yeah, it's a little bit more personal.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more personal.
Yeah.
Everybody
will call you a T-shirt fan just because you didn't go there, but you're rooting for them.
I prefer the NFL just as a football fan over college football. I've said that before, but I do it just on the outside in, on looking in of both and just kind of examining the fan bases of both. College football is way more personal.
Yeah.
Way more personal.
Yep.
Than the NFL. And I think the SEC wants to, they really want to try to exacerbate that.
Right.
The fact that it is personal, and just make it even more personal.
Yeah.
And really kind of, find some way to almost upgrade the angst between these different programs.
Yeah.
So I think it's really good. I'm looking forward to the 2024 schedule for Texas. It's going to be challenging, but they all are.
Not as challenging as Florida's. Florida's is probably one of the it's one of the scariest looking schedules that I've seen this year, and it's very, very they have to be on their A game a lot to go out there every single. It's almost like an NFL schedule. There's no off days in the NFL. You have to come every single week. Even the bad teams are good teams. So now you're looking at it, and you look at what Florida has to go through. It's like, ooh, lordy.
So they have Miami, Samford. This is obviously 2024.
Yep.
Miami, Samford, UCF. Then they got Georgia, which is supposed to be a neutral site.
Yep.
At Florida State. Florida State
On
should
the
be
rise.
pretty good. by
They
then.
got a quarterback that's in the preseason Heisman talk.
LSU, Kentucky, Ole Miss, A&M, at Texas, at Tennessee, at Mississippi State.
They're going to have to bring it.
Yeah, I mean, but I think everybody does.
Yeah.
I don't,
No, I agree with that.
yeah, it's just
But
like
when you
said,
look at Florida, you're like, man.
I haven't seen a schedule really where I think anybody. Honestly, I think the Aggie schedule, as we talked about, is favorable for the Aggies. But
For
it's,
sure.
it's not. No schedule is easy.
Oh, no. Not at all.
We say that in the Big 12 sometimes when we examine the schedules. We go, oh, man, that's an easy schedule.
Oh, they should be playing for the championship.
That's a cupcake schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
There are no
You
cupcakes.
don't say it in the SEC.
Nah, ain't no cupcakes in here, man. These are triple layer, like those big, those cakes of those reality TV shows,
Oh,
Cake
yeah.
Wars or whatever
Yeah.
it is. These are those types of cakes. Ain't no cupcake schedules up in the SEC, man.
Yeah, there's some time and some effort that has been put up into this thing.
Grown man.
Yeah,
Grown man and grown woman.
I'm with you on that.
All right. That's just favorable is the way you start. You don't go easy, favorable. And like I said, I do think the Aggies actually may have a kind of a favorable schedule. But I did forget they do have Notre Dame.
Yes, they do. Added
That's what we
there.
didn't add yesterday when we looked at the SEC schedules. They have Notre Dame.
Yeah,
Now we'll see where Notre Dame is in a couple of years too.
Also true.
because
also true.
we
and that's
know
a home and a
But they
home.
recruit a lot of Texas guys.
they are.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to help, but it should. It should. But you're right. We don't know where they're going to be.
Yeah.
2024. But that's a big game though. They got McNeese and Bowling Green, New Mexico State, LSU, Missouri, Texas, Arkansas. But then those are home games, and those are tough games, but they're home games, and those are their rivals.
Yep.
They get all their rivals at home, or I say neutral site for Arkansas. 'Cause Arkansas is a neutral site for that.
Yeah, they play in Arlington at Jerry
Yes,
World.
but it's in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get that. So they get that.
So yeah,
But Jerry make that a home game for Arkansas. You already know Jerry makes sure he rolls
They
it
get them
out.
discounts.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a home game for them.
There way more Arkansas fans in here. They got a discount on parking and everything.
use the promo code Don't Gig 'em.
No, that's a great point though. You're right. All right, so maybe that one just ends up being just a push. That's a draw.
Yeah.
Either way, but yeah, they don't have to play their rivals on the road.
No.
No, I say that. And the Notre Dame game is at home.
Yeah.
So that's why it's favorable. I ain't say it's easy. It ain't easy.
It's
Favorable.
definitely favorable.
And then they're at Auburn, at Mississippi State, at Florida. And you just talked about it. We don't know if I like Billy Napier, so
I do too.
I do
We
think
talked about it. They're going to be tough.
Yeah, but that Florida team's going to get beat up throughout the season. I mean, when their non-cons are two, Miami, Florida State, UCF, and then one
Yeah.
gimme. But that's three decent non-cons right there.
No, you're right. It's right. I mean, it's probably one of the toughest schedules out there.
Yeah,
There's no
it's
doubt.
a tough SEC, and then you throw in Florida State and Miami, which are both in-state UCF in-state games, so they're going to be rivalry-ish games as well with all three of those. So you're basically adding in three more pressure-packed games in your non-conference.
At South Carolina is also the last game for them, and we don't know how they're going to be. But they look to be trending. They're supposed to be good this season.
Yeah.
2024, obviously, a different discussion. The Sooners, they got Temple, Tulane, and then, of course, they play Texas. That's Texas OU in Dallas for the Texas State Fair. Then they got Alabama, Tennessee, at LSU, at Ole Miss. Those are tough road games. At Auburn, at Missouri, South Carolina is another home game for them. Those are tough road games.
Mm-hmm.
At LSU and at Ole Miss for the Sooners. But as we pointed out, hey, man, ain't no easy wins.
I was going to say.
Ain't no easy wins in the SEC. That's why this is your last season to get maybe a couple easy wins in a conference.
Yep.
Vandy is the easy win in the SEC, right? That's supposed to be the easy one?
That's
Yeah,
what
it's your
everybody
easiest.
says.
That's your easiest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because, Missouri has a lot of off years. Kentucky has a lot of off years. So there's teams that have off years, but then they have some decent years, too. It depends when you're catching them. But there's a few teams that are not as, dominant.
I will say the bottom feeder of the Big 12, Kansas, is way better.
I was going to say
than
Dan
they
Vanderbilt.
were.
Dan Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
There you go. If you're going to have your comparison,
Okay, there you go. Yes. I
they're
agree
better
with
than
that.
Vanderbilt.
I
I
would
think
take
they've recruited
Kansas.
well.
I'll take Kansas all
Yep.
day, every day over Vanderbilt.
Yep.
I would love to see. They should do that battle of the bottom feeders. Who's the worst team in your Power 5 conference? And they'll face off.
And let them just sit there and look at each other and then say, let's go get them.
Who's the worst team in the ACC? It used to be Wake Forest, but it ain't no more.
No, it's
Wake
not.
Forest is the beast. Who's the worst team in the ACC? Worst team in the Pac-12. There's a bunch of those.
Yeah, I was going to say you could have random shots
I
out
know
there.
USC and UCLA are leaving. So
Yeah. So there you go.
yeah,
That's right.
so all of them.
That's the battle royal of the
I
bottom.
don't want to do that to Utah and Oregon, but
Yeah, actually, Utah's a good football program.
UT is a good. Oregon's a decent program.
And Washington.
Washington's. There are some decent programs.
Yeah,
So
they
I
won't be in that
I won't
discussion.
throw everybody in that.
I mean, I guess the teams
Oregon
that you would
State
say in
to
the
Washington
ACC, you would have to look at possibly
Battle of the bottom feeders.
Boston College,
Oh,
maybe.
Buck's going to be upset about
Sorry,
that.
Buck, but hey, man, they hadn't been that
Classic.
successful.
They were relevant when Doug Flutie was there.
Yeah.
You mean
Matt
Bucky?
Ryan.
When
Bucky was playing.
Bucky was around there then, I believe, around that time. He tells stories about Doug Flutie all the time.
Yeah, I don't know where you would go with this,
Oh,
to be
man.
quite honest with you.
That's funny. And you know what? Honestly, I'd take UTSA over some of those bottom feeders.
yeah.
No doubt. Over
Right.
Power 5, easy.
Oh, for sure.
And Texas got to play UTSA, by the way. I'm not trying to rhyme. But on the
Hey,
schedule of
you
2024.
did, though.
I
You did,
wasn't
though.
trying. Texas, 2024, Colorado State at Michigan. That's a doozy.
That is a tough
That's
one.
a doozy.
Yeah.
Because Jim Harbaugh got that thing rolling. And they looking forward to that.
They are definitely looking forward to that.
ULM, they coming from all around the country, by the way, to Michigan. This is a year away. They already making plans. They coming from all around the country. Really probably around the world to come to that game to watch Texas and Michigan face off. Just doesn't happen that often.
Yep.
Then ULM, as you pointed out yesterday, I believe Horns 24/7 reported that. They're going to play ULM, University, Louisiana Monroe. Then UTSA, they will play as well. And that'll be also one of their non-cons, but a home game.
Hey, I just got told we need to take it easy on the Vanderbilt being easy because they got 3 local kids.
I know
going
they
on.
do. I thought about
One
it
of
too.
them's
Well,
your
you know what?
boy.
That's why
One of
they
your boy.
got them.
That's right.
But
That's
no,
right.
they
Change
used
the
to be.
narrative. There it
They
is.
used to be.
Yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
about the olden days. There we go. Yeah, they making some changes. I see it.
now they got some Central Texas kids.
Yeah.
Now they gonna be
Now
the
we're going to
flex.
put some respect on their name. That's right. That's right. We're going to put some respect on
You
them.
put respect on their name because they're going to be our bosses.
Very true.
Oh man, yeah, you're right. Good point there, Harge. All right, we got to do that.
Yep.
Okay, and also Texas has Oklahoma, of course, Texas OU. Then at A&M, A&M won their home game with Texas since they're reviving the rivalry and rekindling it. It'll be at A&M, which is good for them because they're the only ones who really cared about it. It mattered to them. I'm glad the Aggies got that win. Then at Arkansas all Texas rivals, they play away
Yep.
from DKR
This year.
this
I
season.
mean, that 24. That
2024
yeah,
season.
that
Yes, they'll
2020
play all their
yeah.
rivals away because, of course, Oklahoma's always away.
Yep.
It's at a neutral site. But then they'll play at A&M, at Arkansas. So the Aggies get all their rivals
in their backyard.
in their backyard. At least they don't have to. Yeah, exactly. 'Cause they'll have
Yep.
they'll have it in Texas too when they play Arkansas.
Yep.
And then all the rivals for Texas, you got to go on the road in 2024. So it's tough. But then you got Georgia and Florida at home. That's
Yeah,
sexy.
I
and
like that.
Vanderbilt, by the way. Hey, you've been playing some of them
That's
Central
right.
Texas
All
kids.
the Central Texas kids will be in the spot,
Hey,
man.
they'll
That's
be in
what
the
they
spot,
told them. They were like,
represent.
y'all come here.
Hey,
we'll
flexing.
let you play in your city. We'll let you play in your city.
Seriously.
Hey,
man.
the tickets will be more affordable for that game too. So everybody can go out.
Okay, then Mississippi State, then Kentucky, and that's kind of those wild cards, as Patrick mentioned. They could be really high, or they could just be, formidable.
Yep.
You just don't know. Hopefully, Mississippi State and Kentucky are having down years then.
Yeah, because like Kentucky you get Will Levis, where Will Levis has a really good year a year ago, then they fell off a little bit off the cliff last year. But if you get a guy like that's a top 5 pick second round pick, but projected at one point to be a top 5 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
You get a talent like that, all of a sudden things change real quick.
Yeah, I totally agree. And
That's why I'm trying to look and see what they have on their roster, but
No.
it don't even matter this year. It's for 2 years.
it's for 2 years.
Yeah,
but,
so I'll wait. I'll
Hey,
wait.
and you know how much things change from year to year now.
Exactly, because people hit the transfer portal. You may get some different types of players. You may be like Dion and go get 50 of them.
Yeah.
So it'll be an overhaul.
Yeah, how much research you do into the SEC this year, and then you're like, well, there's 7 different quarterbacks we're playing.
Exactly. Exactly. Goes back to Rod's point yesterday, where you're not even going to be able to have film study on like opponents.
That was Patrick's point.
Yeah, Patrick's point. Yeah, you're not going to have like opponents. So it's going to be like, okay.
Yeah.
How you going to break that down?
There was a On3 article about the top 10 SEC games in 2024 per Jesse Simonton, I believe is the college football analyst for them who wrote it. And Texas has the most, based on their opinion, the most watchable of the top 10 SEC matchups in 2024. They got number 1 Texas at Texas A&M. Or he does, I should say.
Yep.
And he's got Texas hosting Georgia at number 3. He's got Texas and at Arkansas, I should say, at number 8. And then he's got Florida at Texas at number 10. And I believe Bama has 3 behind Texas. They have Georgia at Alabama. There is Alabama at LSU. And then Alabama at Oklahoma are the 3 Alabama games. And then after that, but how does Texas OU not on here?
Because they don't understand it just yet.
I think once they put Texas A&M at Texas versus Texas A&M at the top, I think they were like, look, we can't give them
all the games. Can't give them
so
all.
We'll knock down. People know, but look, we're gonna say the renewed rivalry is gonna get you a bigger.
No, I agree. It will be it actually will be bigger. It'll be bigger this year. I don't know who's the last time we said Texas A&M was bigger than Texas OU. I think it will be bigger this year.
And I mean, if they
for
do
sure,
it, and we don't know,
it's been a break into action.
And well, also because the program of A&M, we don't know what to expect from Venables.
Exactly.
We just don't. We have no idea.
Yeah.
We just have no idea. You passed the Lincoln and the Stoops era, but with Jimbo Fisher, as you mentioned, Jimbo Fisher. He's a personality in itself, but now you're rekindling this rivalry after a decade plus.
Yep.
And now both of you guys in the SEC, you're going to be at A&M. I think it's going to be for the first time in the SEC together.
Yeah.
Well, and especially if they put it where they historically has been, which is near the end of the season, that escalates everything as well because it only takes one team to be at a place where the other team can ruin their season. It doesn't even take both of them to be there. If it's a season ruiner for either team, it becomes that much more of a rivalry because you're like, oh no, we can just ruin their year.
That is true. Even if you're having a terrible year.
Yeah,
like,
if you're 500 and they're a one-loss team, and you're like, we can knock them out of this expanded playoffs with the loss to us.
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
Right.
And it was always at the end of the year. It gets back to the
where they're going to put it, but
yeah, and also the more to lose than to gain from the rivalry at one point. But now I think maybe that conversation is put on the back burner. One texter says, "Save this text. Texas will win 11 games in their first year in the SEC. Mark my words." I made a bold prediction like that when A&M went to the SEC. I said they'd win double-digit games. People thought I was crazy, and turns out Blackstradamus was right on that one.
He was right on that one.
This texter says Texas has one of the toughest schedules for 2024, if not the toughest.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. That's a great point. We don't really know.
We
have no idea what these teams are going to look like then.
Exactly. We don't know anything about what's going to happen in a couple years from now. Well, actually next season. So we'll be able to judge it from that point.
Well, I'm glad Sark reiterated, hey, let's focus on the here and now and the present.
Yeah. Because if he goes out there and doesn't play well, then it don't matter.
Yeah. No, you need to go out there and win the last Big 12 title. That's what Sark needs to do. This for Texas, because they're not in the Big 12 anymore. Not the last Big 12 title, but the last possible, the last possibility for Texas to actually add to their resume of Big 12 titles, which is now I think at 3. Believe Texas has 3 Big 12 titles. The first one, 2005 and 2009.
There you go.
That's it. Right?
I mean, we ain't got that many.
Oklahoma's got like triple that amount. No, I'm not joking.
Yes.
That's not a joke. No. I was like, that's crazy. No. That's not being hyperbolic. They have like triple that amount in the Big 12. So it'd be great if Texas could actually ironically win the first and the last time that they were in the Big 12. They could win.
Just beautiful.
First time they were in the Big 12 and the last time they were in the Big 12 to win the Big 12 title both of those times and then send themselves into the SEC with a ton of momentum and positive, confidence and mojo for their fan base. Because if they don't win double-digit games in this Big 12, why would any Longhorn fan believe they're going to go to the toughest conference in the history of college football and do it there?
Exactly.
Come on now.
I mean, that's not even common sense. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, if you can't do it here,
what makes you think you're going to walk up in here and just run through this thing?
It's a tougher conference on every level, talent-wise, coaching-wise, even money-wise.
Yes.
By the way, you've been money-whipping teams in the Big 12 forever and still can't win the conference in football. You have by far, and it ain't even close. You're rich and
you got
conference.
surpassed.
You're the Elon Musk of the Big 12.
And your recruiting classes are
by far way more impressive.
Way more impressive
than any other team in the Big 12. And you had to be able to win it. So that if you want to know why 2023 is important, that's why it's important.
No doubt.
Confidence-wise. Because otherwise, I don't think Longhorn fans are going to be very confident you're going to go into from the Big 12 to the SEC and suddenly conquer and, become the king of the SEC somehow. When you couldn't even conquer and become the king of the Big 12. By the way, that was Oklahoma. That was your rival that did that. They got a better chance right now, in Longhorn fans' opinion, of going to the SEC and having more success than Texas does. Who's going to be the first to win the SEC title between Texas, Oklahoma, and A&M?
Come on, man.
That's the question. That's the question.
That's a bigger question than anybody is ready to answer.
That's the arms race now.
Yep.
All right? If you want to know that's the arms race. Because if you win that, we all know you're in the college football playoff, and you're probably a top seed in the college football playoff, depending on how they do it when they expand it. Which one's going to be the first? Who's the first? Specs X line 512-337-3776. Be realistic. I want to be realistic about it.
I was just about to say
Oklahoma or Texas. Let's be realistic about it. Who's going to be the first to win it? Texas won three since the inception of the Big 12.
Going for number 4.
How many years has the Big 12 been a conference, a Power 5 conference?
More than those 3.
How many years are we talking? No, seriously. Was it 96, 97?
96 was the first year.
96, 97?
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 26, 27
years.
years?
This will be 27.
Okay. 26, 27. Okay. So 3 in 26 years.
They didn't want to hog it all. They wanted to share it.
Okay.
Oklahoma's the one that wanted to hog it all.
I want to know who's going. Oklahoma's got, like I said, they like triple that amount.
As you said, be realistic, folks.
Be realistic. No.
Be realistic.
The truth is, when I first came to the Big 12, I believe, A&M had won the Big 12 like in 98.
Mm-hmm. I think it was.
That's when 98 was.
Is that when they played K-State?
Rod B's heyday. The Aggies won it. So that's the question. I know nobody's gonna pick the Aggies.
Oh no, I know. I'm already seeing people being like, "Well, it's us or Oklahoma." No, you can't pick. You cannot pair Texas and Oklahoma together against the Aggies.
They're not the
not fair because you're just taking a shot because now you're claiming Oklahoma, and that makes you part Sooner. So either say Texas or Oklahoma, but you can't say Texas or Oklahoma will beat the Aggies.
Since the inception of the Big 12, the Aggies have 1 conference title. You have 3, and the Sooners have what? Is it
14?
8? Is it how many? Is
14.
Is it 14?
Yeah. Because remember Bob Stoops told you, I got all the Big 12 championships in my office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then Lincoln Riley said, "Pardon me while I whip this out."
Exactly.
And now he took some of them.
And then Brent Venables says, "I'm drinking from a fire hose." So I mean, not as much the same, but
and there you go. That's the thing.
But they're predicted to be in the championship game this year with Texas.
That would be sweet if Texas could win the last Big 12 title by beating Oklahoma. Oh.
Yeah, it'd be nice to stick it to Oklahoma and the Big 12 at once.
Yeah.
And just like both y'all are leaving, both y'all are in the championship game, everyone's got to protest.
Yep.
Yeah, no, like I said, it is one of those conversations that is worth having. That hey, man, if Texas can't prove themselves in this Big 12, and it's, by the way, newly expanded Big 12, should be more of a test.
Yep.
If they can't do it in this conference, then how does that give you faith and hope that they will be able to do it in the SEC?
It's called false hustle.
Hey, no, it's
you gotta wait. Gotta wait. So we'll see.
We'll come back. We'll get into some NBA discussion. Zion may be on the trade market. If he is, should the Rockets be interested? Also, Nikola Jokic reportedly has already lost his MVP trophy.
Love it.
All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104 Down the Horn. It is a new theme Thursday. That's when Patrick the Ideal plays songs that are supposed to give us clues and hints as to what the new theme of the day is. This one's really easy.
Yeah, it's not hard.
It's hot as hell outside.
It's hot as hell outside.
Every Texas is like, oh, it's hot. I got that one. It is. It is hot outside, man. So please hydrate, y'all.
I told Rod the other day when we left here after the show, we get off of here and it's still 1,000 degrees outside. I told Rod, I saw a meme today that said, I saw a bird pick up a worm and blow on it to cool it off before he ate it. That's how hot it was outside.
No, man, I agree. It's and the sun's not even out really.
No.
We still got the overcast from all that's going on in the atmosphere.
The summer's here.
Oh man, it is here.
The summer is here.
I know. I'm just waiting for that island weather.
Yeah, you get to go to the beach.
You get to go to the beach, get that nice ocean breeze.
Oh, man,
let's do it.
I'm envious. I'm a little jealous of my man Patrick next week going to the beach. But we'll get into some more just conversation about Texas and the SEC schedule a little bit later on in the show. I want to talk some NBA, gentlemen, while we got a little time here. So there is a conversation being had about Zion Williamson. We know we were talking about him, impregnating women who are Instagram models and makeshift adult stars and all that kind of stuff. Yes, we're talking about actually on the court because
actual basketball.
Yes, basketball related news about Zion. Brian Windhorst was on Get Up, and remember he's plugged in. Usually about LeBron, but he's expanded his expertise. And he actually brought up the point that there actually is now a conversation being had within the organization about Zion Williamson. Here is Brian Windhorst.
Boy, Greeny, is there a lot of chatter about the picks that could move around the top 10 in this draft. And one team that has emerged that really would like to move up from their spot at 14 of the New Orleans Pelicans, potentially hunting a star player caliber, maybe like a guy like Scoot Henderson. The Pelicans have had some cursory discussions from what I've been told. There haven't been any offers made necessarily yet, but it makes you really not take too far of a leap to wonder and the league is certainly wondering if the Pelicans are going to make for the first time truly Zion Williamson available ahead of next week's draft. To get up to that level in the top 5, you'd have to consider a player of this caliber. He's obviously had injury history, a little bit of off-season drama recently. So I don't know if anything's going to truly develop there, but I think it's fair to say, based on my conversations, there's an eye being kept towards whether the Pelicans would make Zion Williamson available ahead of trying to get into that top end of the draft.
All right, there you go, guys. So ahead of the draft, which is coming up next week, you could have some teams move some things around, and there was I'm not saying that this is substantive, but there was an NBA. I would say that he's more of a content creator. I'm not going to call him a reporter. So I'm not going to do it. So just so you know what you're dealing with, that he says the Rockets actually are in the conversation. Because he's a local
I wouldn't
guy.
be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised by the Rockets being in. I heard Dallas was in part of the conversation too. Dallas, because that's where most of them girls are. He loves Dallas, Texas. he kept saying, I like Dallas. I mean, it's a good spot. I think it's slept on. I'm like, we live in Texas. Dallas is not slept
Zion
on.
ain't
bro.
doing no sleeping either.
Exactly. That man got back problems like me. I'm like sitting there trying to figure out what's going on. But when you sit there and you look at the entire breakdown of Zion, why wouldn't you look at trading him? You hadn't got anything from him. I mean, when you do, he plays great basketball, but you can't depend on him. So if you can go and trade for somebody else, why not? I would definitely be interested in entertaining that conversation because he's not that guy.
He definitely needs he needs a change of scenery. He does need a fresh start somewhere, and I just don't know right now if it's with his current team. As a Rockets fan, and they hold the number 4 overall pick right now, and that's basically where they be trading away the number 4 overall pick for Zion Williamson. And by the way, if Zion could even come close to reaching the expectation level for him, hell man, that'd be cheap to get him.
Oh, no.
But I don't know if he's ever going to get that.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if he's ever going to get
When he's
there.
on the court, He's worth trading away probably the number 2 pick in this draft when he's
There
on
you
the
go.
court. The problem is he's played 114 games in 4 seasons.
4.
The most, so he played 61 games in one season. His second season in the league, he played 61 games. In the other 2, he played 21 and 29 games.
He said
That's-
second year was the big year.
So
Not
and
the
he
first.
missed one whole season too.
Right.
So so basically he played 61 games in that one season. He's played 29 since then in the next 2 years. That's the problem. So if you're the Rockets and you can give up the number 4 pick for him, sure, because the number 4 pick isn't going to really help you a ton
Not
right
guaranteed.
now, and you're willing to change that lottery pick.
you're
go,
not tanking
Hey man,
anymore.
we
Yeah.
go now. We got Jabari Smith and Jalen Green, and maybe we can move Jabari Smith for something because they're kind of playing the same position, and maybe we can try and move some pieces around.
And you got Ime Udoka as your
Got
coach
Ime.
now.
And so you go, maybe we can change things up. Maybe we can try and put in, we bring him to Houston and get him with Akeem or get him with somebody else and try and get him a little bit more help in just his daily life, and maybe it'll be a wake-up call. It's a risk, but for number 4, I feel better with that. If the Mavs get it for number 10, then do that 48 times in a row.
Yeah, right,
There-
'cause
100 out of 100 times
it's
you do
worth
that
the
for number
risk.
10.
Yeah.
If you look
But
at
you're
it,
not
yeah.
getting him for the number 10.
Yeah.
If they're trying to get Scoot Henderson, never in a million years would I make that trade for Scoot Henderson. I'm taking Scoot every day of the week if I'm Portland. I don't want to add a guy who may never play in an NBA game ever in his career. The odds of him playing never a game in his career averaging over 60 games for the next 6-7 seasons, the odds would be better to say he never plays another game.
I know that's
That's crazy to say, but
It
you
is
just never
crazy to say, but it
you
is
just
the
go,
way he's been playing now.
and just because he doesn't seem to have the focus on the game.
Nope.
That for 4 years, people have told him he needs to lose weight. And he comes back stronger, but he doesn't come back leaner.
Right.
And that's because it's easier to put on muscle and build muscle that way because you're still eating. You're not having to.
And I think he may go. Maybe a weight room guy, but he's not a cardio
He's
guy.
not a
Yeah.
cardio guy.
And
That's
you gotta,
exactly
You
right.
gotta lose it, man. You
And,
gotta
and
burn.
it
you gotta
sucks.
burn
You got
the
to eat
calories.
like terrible food.
Yeah, you gotta burn
And
it.
that's it. And not all the time. And you got to regiment it and all that. I get it. It sucks. But that's what you need to do to stay on the court because you need to lose a solid 60 to 70 pounds to take the weight off of your body for
I don't think
what
he'll
you
ever
do.
be at
Do
that
you
level.
have the? Because this is the thing about it.
I'm
If-
saying you've
if
got to
he
get down to 250 at least.
If he was going to a team like the Spurs, I'd say hell yeah, do it because they got the culture in place where I believe they could promote those positive habits.
They got a lot of
those
queso
constructive
down
habits.
there, though.
They do got a lot of queso.
They got a lot of queso.
No, H-Town's got some of the best food in the country. H-Town's one
yeah.
of the most obese cities in the
It
country.
is. It
Has been
is.
for years.
Yep.
H-Town's got great food and great strip clubs and fine women. I'm from H-Town, all right? Those are bad combinations for Zion. In San Antonio, you got a culture that would put up guardrails
Yeah.
that would have fail safes in place so that it could help him deal with some of his temptations.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right?
he's
Whether-
got a lot of them.
whether it be food or whether it be women.
got a lot of
He got a lot of it, all right?
Yeah.
But the potential is immense. I don't know if the Rockets have the culture in place. I love Ime, but between Ime and them getting Harden back potentially, which is also a conversation, the strip clubs are happy if Zion comes to town and all 3 of those come down. But
They
I don't
starting
know.
to go fund me down there for them.
Yes, I don't know if the culture of the Rockets would be constructive enough to help
No,
help
I-
him from leading him astray.
No, I say if you're the right, I agree with you 100% on that. I think if you're the Rockets, you do it because you basically, whoever you're going to get it for is going to be enough of a project that you're going to have to pay at least Jalen Green, maybe Jabari Smith, before you get, and you have to pay Martin and you're having to pay everybody before you're really ready to open that window. And now that window is so much harder to open because now you've paid 3 guys or it had someone left because they didn't get the money they wanted. It just makes it a lot harder because it's everyone else past 3 is a real project.
Yeah.
And so I get if you go, hey, we get somebody who can average 26, 27 points a game easy if he's playing. Like we get a guy who's a possible double-double every single game when he plays versus a guy who may be struggling to play 15 minutes his rookie season just because he's going to make some mistakes when he's young.
Yeah.
Now, if you get like one of the Thompson kids, one of the Thompson brothers, one of them could turn out to be a real star player in the NBA. They have a ton of potential. They could also turn out to be okay players in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at 4, it's fine. But up in that number 3, when they're saying for Scoot Henderson, it's like, okay, well, I want him and Ingram. because I'm now giving up a guy who can be a true scorer and could be a face of a franchise that is on a rookie contract
for the mystery box.
For a guy, two guys that are already money is already starting to be spent.
Yeah.
And I need two guys, and I need another guy in this trade to try and help Damian Lillard win a title. And who's going to be on the court? And I don't want CJ McCollum because we already traded him to you guys.
No, I agree. I do think the Rockets should really consider it. I don't know if it'll work out, but it may just be worth rolling the dice. For
And
the Rockets.
I don't know. I think the
Worth rolling
Pelicans at this point don't want anything less than the number 3 pick for him. I think they're still viewing it as he is
The
a
Rockets
generational talent.
They would give him a 4 and then give him whatever future.
But that's what I'm saying is I don't think they're in that. I think they want Brandon Miller or Scoot Henderson because they opened their window when they drafted Zion, and that's why they got CJ McCollum. That's why they got Brandon Ingram. They put together this whole team, and the problem is they're a player away because that player can't stay on the court. So if they can go ahead and trade that guy off, then that means they can go get somebody else, and they put somebody in who can play every game. That opens up their window. So I get why they want to get one of those guys. I just don't think Zion's worth the number 2 or number 3 pick in the draft this year because he can't stay on the court.
If somebody is going to trade him, I will jump all over it. I don't care what the pick is because he's not going to play. We've seen it. And y'all brought it up earlier. His mind is not on basketball. I mean, it gets you to a certain point. We can look at what Ja Morant is going through. Ja Morant is another kid that was on his same AAU team. They played together, grew up together, traveled together, and they were probably been hustling. And I heard somebody talk about this the other day. The difference about Zion at this point in his life is because he's been a mature person since he was 12 years old. Think about that. You have a 12-year-old kid that looks like he's 30 from the very beginning, and everybody has catered to him. Like he's been that kid. And I know a lot of people, talking about his father or stepfather that's been involved in his life from the very beginning, but you get caught up too. As a father, you can get caught up in it. It's really easy for you to say, if that was my kid, I would be doing this. You get caught up in it too because you're the person that they're talking to the majority of the time.
Yeah.
So you're seeing it firsthand, and your thought process is, ooh. This is where we are? Oh, okay. We got this possibility and this possibility, and it's the same thing.
The prospects continue to get bigger, more profitable, more lucrative.
And you're seeing it every single day. Yeah. But the drive as that happens is, and Rod, you know this too because you've been there. When you're good, you're really good. But when you get to that next level, everybody's good. Everybody is good. I was great in the state of Texas. So was the guys that were on my team when I got drafted because they were the best in Georgia. They were the best in Virginia. They were the best. They were coming from different spots where they were the man too. So it's a different time frame and mentality that this young man has gone through. We've been watching him on highlights since he was 12 years old.
Yeah.
So we are looking at it in a perspective of, okay, does he have what it takes? Yes, we all know that he has what it takes. He became that pick. He was that guy. But as he's gotten older, we all know we break down. And the more frequent as a big man, when you break down, it's harder and you don't take care of it. Your
diet's not good.
And it becomes more frequent. So to me, I don't think he has the drive anymore to be that guy. So if I can if I can unload that, because remember they gave him money again.
Oh yeah, no, they got. I was just going to bring that up. He is set to start a 5-year, $194.3 million contract extension next season.
Right. They're like, you gonna pick up his rookie? Yeah, we got him.
But how about this? Brian Windhorst did say that extension is no longer fully guaranteed.
Right.
So I don't know the details, but it's not fully guaranteed. So either way, I think the Rockets should consider it.
Yep.
And you're right, I think they're ready to unload him for a boatload of picks because they know more than we know as the public. We get the reports. Think about how much they know seeing him every day behind the scenes.
Yep.
That's probably a lot.
And
more
also remember,
disturbing.
there's a new CBA signed where that luxury tax has different effects than it used to have. Small market teams are trying to stay away from having 3 big names on a roster now. We've seen it with Bradley Beal is possibly being moved. Damian Lillard, that's being talked about. Those are big money contracts that people are saying, yeah, man, could you just take away Like
Yeah.
we may not appreciate what we signed.
This
Yeah.
may be a crazy offseason for the NBA.
And they
may
need
end up
it.
being a
And they
wild
need
one.
it.
They do need it.
They need it.
All right, we'll get to that Jokic story a little bit later on. We got time for that. We come back. We got the flex on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie. Wonderful, not the horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a new theme Thursday edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. That's when Patrick the Idillionaire plays jam songs that are supposed to leave clues and hints for Harge and I as to what the new theme of the day is, and we got it pretty quickly because we all were feeling the heat. Oh, yeah, the heat. The heat of the Texas summer, and it's hot outside. So that's the theme. It's hot outside. So man Patrick is sympathizing with our circumstance. And the theme of the day is all about the heat of Texas. Go to Flex, FLXATX.com. Go to FLXATX on all of your social media platforms. Also, the Wednesday Night Flex from yesterday is up there. You can go check that out if you missed it. A little bit of a Westlake takeover of the Wednesday Night Flex. Coach Blair was on.
Fired up again.
Who was on with us? Oh yeah, I mean,
he was ready to go.
You know what? I expected him to be ready to go even after the loss. I mean, he ain't losing. Matter of fact, he might be more intense.
That's right.
After the loss.
Yeah, it was. Burn them boats. That's what they shirts say. Burn the boats. And I was like, okay. Shout out to my man Aiden Bennett, nephew, and Ben Longoria coming through and giving a breakdown on the entire season. It was one hell of a season, 40 wins. I don't know if anybody will ever get to that number again at Westlake, but those kids left their mark for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So you can go check out that conversation at FLXATX.com. Go to FLXATX on all your social media platforms as well. You can go check out all of the highlights from the Flex team. We appreciate all their efforts. Zach Lucero, Cameron, Nolan Hogan, all those guys doing a really, really good job. All right, we come back and we'll get into some NFL news, notes, and nuggets. Dan Quinn's really high on his defense. Dan Orlovsky has made it kind of a personal off-season project to examine Dak Prescott, and I'm all for it. He's given out several details from his film study about the Dak Prescott 2022 season, and he's got another really compelling, profound stat and nugget that I think will help us kind of dive into why we had such a regression from Dak in 2022. So we'll get to that coming up next segment too. The Texans re-signed one of their defensive players. We'll jump into that. And DeAndre Hopkins, more and more, it looks like he may be reuniting with Bill O'Brien. There's a lot of talk up there with the Patriots and a lot of the insiders that the meeting went really well. So well, in fact, that you may see DeAndre Hopkins as a New England Patriot. With plays
Randy
being called
Moss,
by
man,
Bill O'Brien.
Randy Moss.
That he ain't no.
No,
Randy
he
Moss.
don't. Well, and he doesn't have.
But
he doesn't have Tom Brady.
But he can make it really easy on a young quarterback.
He can
because you don't.
He's a go-to guy.
Yes, and you don't need to have great ball placement all the time. If he's one-on-one, you can just kind of throw it into his catch radius, and he'll find a way to make the play.
Yeah, he don't drop passes.
He don't need a lot of separation.
He don't drop passes.
Yeah, so I think that also is kind of he's more of a security blanket for a young quarterback too. But I think he wants to cash, and I don't know if the Patriots have not been known to pay a lot of money for wide receivers. That's why this is kind of weird too. So we'll talk about that coming up when we get into the NFL news, notes, and nuggets. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Logo and Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about our friends over at Ironworkers Local Union 482. We know Austin is a great city, and part of the unique appeal of Austin is the aesthetic appeal, and that's thanks in no small part to the skilled craftsmanship of Ironworkers Local 482. They don't go to the office, they build it. They've been helping shape Greater Austin since 1935. That's a really long time, and you see the labors of their love all over this great city and exquisite, iconic landmarks that you probably didn't even know were shaped by Ironworkers Local 482, the DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And as our city continues to grow and thrive, so do our friends at Ironworkers Local Union 482. And right now, they're hiring over 3,000 people for a huge project right here in Central Texas. So if you're looking for an exciting new career and you want to become a member of Ironworkers Local 482, you can accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development. You can become a member of Ironworkers Local 482 and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. So maximize your potential today and be your best self. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a new theme Thursday of Ball Don't Lie. That's my man Patrick, the Idealionaire. He takes jams that are supposed to give Harge and I clues and hints as to what the new theme of the day is, and we got it pretty soon, pretty easy this time because it was all about the Texas summer, which is upon us, and y'all all know it's hot.
Yeah.
And we ain't
even
beginning.
start.
This is barely at the beginning of summer.
Yeah.
We're not even deep into it.
No doubt.
Man. It's gonna
No
be hot.
doubt.
And the sun's not even out right now. We've been overcast for the last couple of days, and it's still hot. At night, I went outside at night last night,
Yes, it's ridiculous.
and it was like 90 something.
Yeah.
At least it felt like it. It was unbelievable.
I agree 100%.
Oh man,
My
it's
gosh.
depressing. It's just depressing. It is. It's no ways. No, it's depressing.
no.
heat.
I saw those
And
people.
especially like if you're a sweater like I am,
Oh man,
when
I
you're just
feel
like,
bad for
cool,
you,
I
brother.
gotta change my shirt because I unloaded the groceries.
Yeah.
No,
I
but-
seen all them dudes that are working around here outside. Them mugs, they cutting down trees mad because they want to be under those trees.
I agree.
They
Yeah.
don't want to be out there cutting them down.
No, I feel bad for anybody who's got to be out in the heat working. It is, like I said, it is dreadful.
Yeah, we're out there looking out for y'all, man.
Yeah, man. Please be careful. Hydrate, y'all. Hydrate out there, man, because it's crazy. Like I said, we're just at the beginning of this thing. All right, so we'll get into some NFL discussion here. We'll talk about the Cowboys, Dak, and Dan Quinn as well. Dan Quinn had some comments about how confident he is about this season and the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't think Dan Quinn's, even with the last two seasons having a really good defense, a top 10, top 5 defense, he has not really, prior to the season, talked about how confident he is about his squad. So Cowboys fans should feel really good about this defense coming up this season for Dan Quinn. And it may be the reason we're starting to see a shift in philosophy for the Cowboys, because maybe they anticipate this defense may be going from top 5 to the best defense in the league. That's the question.
Yeah.
Can the defense be the best defense in the league? So we'll talk about that and have that conversation. Also, Dan Orlovsky, we'll talk about that stat he had on Dak. We'll get back to the Texas 2024 SEC schedule conversation. We'll get back to that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour at the top of the 5 o'clock. What you got coming up for the people on Harge Not Gonna Lie?
I'm going to do a little preview of the College World Series. I'm going to break a little bit of that down.
Nice.
And I'm going to give a shout out to our man, Brandon Phillips, that dude. The Texas Smoke softball team, fast pitch softball team, start their season tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight.
Where's the where the game?
Concordia.
Okay.
They're starting at Concordia.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He came on the show and was really excited about the season coming up for the ladies. And I don't know if I'm calling you out on the air, but I thought we were gonna get Harge out there.
My neck and my back.
Okay, all right. You know what? I'm not even gonna get into it.
Nah, Harge's in load management now.
Yeah, I'm in load management right now,
All right,
man.
then you know what? Say no more, brother. Say
Yeah,
no more.
yeah.
I'm not gonna even get into it. Yes. Okay, let's move on then.
Now we know how he hurt his back though.
Exactly. I was training.
He was
Was he
training. He was
training?
trying to swing a bat 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Put
Good.
him
right.
on the injured list.
All right,
That's
there you
right.
go. Good
IR,
Harge.
baby.
Okay, so we'll talk College World Series coming up in the next segment. Let's get to this Dan Orlovsky stat, which I thought was a really compelling stat about Dak Prescott. He had a kind of a breakdown about Dak. We won't get into the breakdown. I won't play it for you. It's really nerdy football stuff, which I love, but not everybody's going to love that. But remember, he led the NFL in interceptions last year. Had 15 of them in the regular season, 2 in the postseason, so 17 total. Dan Orlovsky claims in his research that 11 of the interceptions that Dak threw were when he had at least 10 yards to gain for a first down. So it was first and 10, second and 10, or third and 10. Yeah, or maybe fourth and 10. I don't know exactly what his breakdown was, but it was 10 yards to gain for a first down. So that's 11 of the interceptions. He also, which is a NFL high, he claims.
Mm-hmm.
Also, 20% of Dak's throws were in tight windows last season, which was also an NFL high. So, which means his receivers didn't have a ton of separation down the field. But he shouldn't be forcing the ball in there.
Well, sometimes you think that you got guys that can make 50-50 plays for you, and you don't have those dudes.
You don't have DeAndre Hopkins, so you can't be throwing it in there like that.
And he learned from that.
Okay.
He's learning
That's a
from
good
that.
point. I hope he did, 'cause I'm a Dak fan. He also claims that basically Dak's, the interceptions that he threw most of the time he says they were force throws, which was Dak trying to force the ball in there, which makes a lot of sense. So and also Dan Orlovsky originally had that. I think it was another tweet. This was early on this offseason, so it wasn't recent. But he did say he's looking at Dak's film, because I think he's been looking at Dak a lot, going back even multiple seasons. He said if you go look at Dak in the last 33 starts he's had, he's thrown 29 interceptions. So
it's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Tell him that I'll wait, but I want to see him do it for Josh Allen. I want to see him do it for Patrick
I agree.
Mahomes. I want to see it for some of these other guys. Where's the hatred for what we saw? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Dan. Why is he not breaking it down?
I don't even know if it's hatred. I think he's not like.
It's a one-off season.
He's not being disparaging, actually.
Right.
I mean, they're just stats. They're facts.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. They did happen.
And I'm sure he does breakdowns about Josh Allen. I'm not that concerned because our audience doesn't give a damn about Josh Allen. So Josh Allen's breakdowns, frankly, I don't have those pinned.
Right. No, I'm not talking about you, but I'm saying when we look at, because I watch what he talks about. I haven't seen that breakdown. I haven't seen him go after some of these other quarterbacks. And I know Dak is the
story. You keep saying go after like he is
he's going
being very critical. You think he is?
Oh, for sure.
Hey, Hart, you got to remember, it is America's team.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Cowboys.
With the side of the star on the helmet is the reason why. Let's not forget, some of the people that are in this conversation that I would like to point out, Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson had a terrible year last year. Russell Wilson had an awful year last year. But it's always about, why is Dak? Dak took his team to the playoffs. When Dak came back from his injury, they led the NFL in scoring.
I agree. I like that.
I'm not, again, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the situation to where everybody always thinks. We had somebody at the very beginning of the show when you were talking about the rundown, they were like, why don't we trade Dak for Dalvin Cook? And I'm like, what? I said goodbye to him. But I sit here and I look at it and I'm like, Dak had an awful season last season. No doubt about it. No. It was not. And the number was ridiculous. But if we go back and we look at his trend, he's a good quarterback. You and I both talked about the fact, hey, man, that's a one-off season. He had it. Mm-hmm. Now, if he comes back this year and has that type of year, then we can have a whole nother discussion. Yes, he didn't have separation. I'm glad you brought up the separation part of it about him throwing in the tight windows. That goes to show his supporting cast was not a very good supporting cast last year.
Very true.
And there are some things that need to get better, so we will see what happens after that point. But I do understand where we are because Dak led the league in passing too. Dak led the league and was in the top 5 in touchdowns a few years ago. But he had a bad season.
He did.
Don't deny it.
No, it wasn't even a bad season. It was just uncharacteristically he was high risk, high reward, and usually he's a low risk, low reward, low risk, high reward quarterback, I should say. And no, like I said, I'm looking for reasons for the regression. I'm not saying that he's going to continue to spiral. And I've been a Dak fan for a while, so I'm looking for trends and patterns as to why he's regressing, and I think one of them is clear. And whether he was critical or not in his breakdown of Dak, I do think it's interesting that you go look at 11 of the interceptions of his 17 interceptions came when he had 10 plus yards to go. Why do they have and if those are all, and I think a lot of those are on third down, later downs, and not on first down. Man, if that's the case, then why are you in such long situations, second and long, third and long situations? Remember, I gave you the stat a couple of days ago that the Cowboys, 43.7% of the Cowboys' third downs were 7 yards or more to go. So they were in third and long, like 43% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
not a good look.
That's a terrible look.
Yeah, that's play calling.
And exactly. It goes to play calling, and maybe that's why there was a dispute between Kellen Moore and between Mike McCarthy. Also, keep in mind, if you go look at 3-and-out percentage, the Cowboys, they were 10th. The Cowboys were 3 and out. 10th most in the NFL.
That's way too many.
That's way too many for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You were in the same neighborhood as the New Orleans Saints and the Denver Broncos. And, you know what I mean? Like, you're in that neighborhood. New England Patriots. You shouldn't be in that neighborhood. You're one of the best offenses in the NFL. You should be in the neighborhood of the Kansas City Chiefs or the Cincinnati Bengals or the Lions or the 49ers who are at 25%.
Do not deny that.
3.5 percentage.
Yeah, they definitely need to be in a different
They're making Dak's
bracket.
life too hard.
Agreed.
Like they're making it hard on Dak, and I think that's so. We also got into the talk about interceptions, the discussion about interceptions and how they relate to his play action pass rate, I should say, earlier this week. Dak in his 15 interceptions, you go look at it. All of those interceptions, most of them, I should say, not all of them, were without play action pass. They were on straight drop back. 14 of them were on straight drop back. 14 of the 15.
Need play action.
Only one of them came on play action pass. So they just got to make, and by the way, Dan Orlovsky brought that up too. They just got to make life easier on Dak, man. They made it way too tough on him. And I think that's what the new Texas Coast offense is going to be based on.
We need it to be.
Yeah, that's
we
what it'll
need it
be
to
based
be.
So-
Because they were 4th in the NFL last year in scoring. They were They were 1st in the NFL in TDs in the red zone. They were 5th in the NFL on third down percentages. So there is some positives in there, and I'm giving Dan Orlovsky a tough time because it just figures it seems like he is like really diving in. Let me see what he does moving forward on some of these other guys. But I do believe that the year that Dak had with coming off the injuries, losing some players, having to try to lead this team in certain situations did put him behind the 8 ball. But that's the pressure of being a star quarterback in the NFL though. Yep. You need to answer the call, and I expect him to see a totally different version. I expect to see a totally different version of Dak Prescott. I think we see the one that was in the MVP voting at one point. I think he comes back and puts himself in the right place. So
yeah, no, I'm with you on that too. I think part of the change Texas Coast offense for the Cowboys also is they know how good this defense is going to be. Dan Quinn recently said, quote, "I'm fired up, and I know you'll say Q, you always say at this time of the year, you say that kind of stuff. But this time, I truly am and probably at the top of the list because you walk into the defensive meeting room and the players, the engagement, the connection that they have, I feel us leveling up in a lot of ways."
That's beautiful.
You're talking about a top 5 defense leveling up.
Love it.
That would be, man, that would make you elite. That would take you to the top 3 status. Could they be the best defense in the league is the question. They definitely have it in them.
They have the personnel now.
Could the Cowboys be the best defense in the league?
Well, you were talking about it last year, though. If the way that they can become that, they have to shore up the run game. I mean, the short yardage, the yards per carry.
Smith.
But that's what I'm saying. It has to happen on the field, though.
That's true.
So when you bring that up, I'm with you. Those are the steps that have to happen. If they can come out there and they can stop the running game and get that per yard per carry down, then that's going to be something to look at. Because if you go back there and you can stop the run game and you make them have to throw, you're unleashing the beast.
Unleashing the beast.
You're having Micah Parsons coming straight downhill, being a pass rusher. You have 2 of the best corners in the league. I know that one of them's getting long in the tooth, but his numbers tell you that he's still doggone there. And you brought this up the other day about the secondary. You look at all the safeties that the Cowboys have. You are putting yourself in a prime position to be that. And that is what they need. That's why Dan Quinn is like, ooh, this is getting exciting. Because now he knows he can draw up something and they can actually do it.
Yeah, you were a top 5 defense last year, and you had 2 huge liabilities within your defensive construct. The cornerback spot opposite Trayvon Diggs was a liability, and you went through at least 5, 6 different options at that cornerback spot, even opened it up to a competition late in the season because you were out of ideas on how to remedy the situation. And that's why you went and traded for Stephon Gilmore. And then when you had the Leighton Vander Esch injury, and you also, you had before the Jonathan Hankins trade too, you brought in Jonathan Hankins. And when you didn't have Jonathan Hankins and you didn't have LVE, your rush defense was porous.
Yep.
And now you got an upgraded, younger version of a Jonathan Hankins, but still got Jonathan Hankins. And hopefully Leighton Vander Esch can stay healthy. And if he does, those were the only things that made the defense subpar last year in any way.
Right.
And you shored both of those up over the offseason.
And that's what's
So
the beautiful
I'm
part
trying to
about
think what weakness the defense has. I'm not trying to be, a homer here. And I'm not a Cowboys homer. But if DeMarcus Lawrence stays healthy and Sam Williams takes his game to the next
and
level.
he seems to be,
rusher,
because they said that he's way further along than what he was last year.
man, that defense could be scary.
And then think about how are you going to use DeMarvion Overshown in this defense as well, because he's athletic enough to fit in all those different positions that you're looking to play him.
Well, he is, but Jabril Cox apparently
is getting
in
better
the minicamp,
too.
apparently he looks great.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what you need. You need depth. It's a long season in the NFL. There will be injuries. There will be, people that'll be having bad parts of the season. You need depth. So it is not a bad thing to, especially in a linebacker department where you've had a lot of injuries over the years of the Cowboys, to be able to have, hey, well, there's a competition. Cool. Let's keep them both, and they both can play.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that about the secondary too.
Yep.
Like the cornerback spot.
Yeah.
We talked about, you got Gilmore, you got Diggs.
You got
Deron
Deron Bland
now
Yeah.
too.
Your boy Bossman Fats is having a great camp.
Bossman Fast is having his best camp.
We all decided that was probably for trade.
Isn't Jordan Lewis still there?
As of right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they still got him too because he was hurt. He had a lot of injuries last year to Patrick's point, so you need a lot of depth with that group. Cowboys defense looks like it's going to be legit. Like I said, it was top 5 last year. There's a good chance it could get even better. That's a scary thought for the rest of the league.
I like it.
All right, so that's some Cowboys conversation. Oh, real quick, let's get into this DeAndre Hopkins thing, and then we'll get to Hard Knock Life. Okay, so guys, there are multiple reports, and just one of this is from Pro Football Talk. But I've been doing some research on my own, just diving into some of the beat reporters from New England, and apparently these visits with New England with DeAndre Hopkins are going really well. And Jeff Howe, not our Jeff Howe, the other Jeff Howe that covers the Patriots for The Athletic, he reports that optimism exists on both sides for a deal to be reached between the Patriots and DeAndre Hopkins.
Come on, man.
Over the weekend, Mike Reese of ESPN floated the notion of a $10 million salary with an incentive package in the range of $2 to $3 million. If that's the case, I'm going to be upset with a lot of teams.
Why?
Yeah.
Because that's affordable.
I know.
Yeah, if Odell Beckham Jr. is getting $6 million more than you,
Yeah, you got an agent problem. You got a bad agent. You need to hire Mulligana.
you got to go back to the same guy who trash talked you and trade you away for nothing is going to come and get you for pennies on the dollar to play on a team that underuses wide receiver. No one is ever happy at wide receiver there. And that was with Tom Brady. And now you're playing with Mac Jones, who doesn't seem to want to be
Mac
there either.
Jones.
Like, all of those things. I mean,
I don't know.
if
either.
you're just doing this for posturing, at least make the number higher. Like,
I
it feels
agree.
like DeAndre Hopkins is going to all these meetings, and he's like, yeah, man, I like the scheme, and I can make that work, man. Yeah, man, we can make that work. And then he gets home, and they're like, well, what's the offer? And they're like, $10 million. He's like, come on. They said they valued me.
Yeah, because I think he thought there would be a feeding frenzy, and there's not.
There still might be.
It's
Well,
only
because
two
You know, a
teams.
lot of people are playing coy because I think the biggest thing for everybody now is because everybody wants to bring stories out, right? Everybody wants to know, hey, we're thinking about trading this guy. Then why? Or we're going to release him. We're going to release him if we don't get any trade offers. So why am I going to trade with you? The stories that get out by the leaks in all of these different people is the reason why the value for everybody is changing. It is so crazy to me, and I don't understand how nobody else is paying attention to this. Not here, but I'm talking about nationally. Why is it that every single day we have to, man, I'm going to see the Patriots today. They might be coming up with an offer. I'm feeling optimistic about it. Don't tell nobody. Just go see them, do your thing, and then go see other people, and you don't have to let everybody know your business. Everybody knows what's going on with every single player. Oh, man, I'm going to see how many people want to go after Dalvin Cook. If we can't find any offers, we're going to release him. Okay, release him. And let's see who gets him after that point.
Well, we haven't heard any visits from Dalvin Cook.
It's going to happen.
I know
that.
I think
that.
Dalvin understands the same thing that DeAndre Hopkins needs to understand. That when we get to training camp and when we get to preseason and some of these young wide receivers they thought were their number 2 and they thought were going to be taking a massive step aren't. And, oh, man, we are screwed. We are screwed. We thought we had somebody like, now y'all want to pay me? Because now you need somebody. Right now, everyone's drinking the Kool-Aid. Everyone
and
is.
as a veteran, do you really want to go to training camp?
That's what I'm saying.
Really.
DeAndre Hopkins has done enough that he can walk in week 3, week 4 preseason, and no one will have a problem with him doing that.
I agree.
You just have to wait on it because we know the Dallas Cowboys last year had their guys until week 1 and then went, oh, crap, we don't have any wide receivers.
We can't get separation.
He should go to the Jets, man. He should go to the Jets. If his price tag is just around there.
They got too many wide receivers already, though.
Yeah, but I would take him over some of those
but
other
you'll
ones.
cut a couple of those guys. You'll cut a couple of those
but I'm
guys.
saying-
Where
out.
Corey
saying-
Davis at these days.
Yeah,
Look, you got
couple of those
Aaron
guys.
Rodgers who wants to throw to Allen Lazard. You have Jameson. Like, that's 2. So he's number 3 wide receiver. He needs
No,
to be
he'd
a
be
number
number 2. He'd be number 2 behind Garrett Wilson.
So you got
If he
Garrett
goes to the
Wilson.
Jets.
Yep.
He'd be number 2.
Yeah.
I think
He don't
but it's
like Alan Lazard. He
That's what I'm
just
saying.
needed
exactly. He's
Alan
like, that was
Lazard.
the best he's got.
Yeah.
I think he'd still throw it out. I think
He's-
Aaron Rodgers is that type of cat.
He would be like a friend of LeBron, friend of
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. He
Corey
helps out.
Davis is still there. You got Denzel Mims.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about those guys.
I agree. They were already trying to get rid of Denzel Mims last year because remember he was trying to hold out.
Those guys are hype trains,
Yeah.
man. They are a hype.
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
for that. They got Markel Hardman though.
Yeah.
They just picked him up.
He's a good player.
That offense gonna
but-
be deadly. Ooh, fantasy.
Exactly. I say, if I'm DeAndre Hopkins, I don't want to go play for the Patriots though. But it may end up happening. Just throwing it out there.
Let me see what
and I
their
can't-
depth look like.
And I
at
can't wait
the
to see
wide
what the price
receiver
tag
position.
is because that's crazy.
That's
If
what
he,
I'm saying.
if he gets less than Odell, it's like,
Just
bro,
wait.
fire your agent now.
Just wait it out, man. Just wait it out. You will be desperately needed in about 3 months.
Well, after
Someone
I
will
read
be
you this,
dying for you in about 3
I don't
months.
disagree with that.
Like Dalvin Cook. We know Dalvin Cook is going to be a guy that when everybody goes, oh, we lost 2 running backs in
Training camp.
and preseason.
Mm-hmm.
We've already lost 2 guys. We have nobody to run, and we're trying to make a playoffs.
Guys are already getting hurt. I saw somebody got hurt the other day. Like guys are.
You see it. It's like
they'll
when
start
that
dropping.
starts happening, and so it's like, hey man, you know what? I'll take my vacation. I've been on vacation in about 8 years. I haven't been able to really take off. So I'm gonna take off for a little bit, and I'm gonna come back. and I'll be fun.
Yep, missed that training camp. As you said.
Yeah.
They don't wanna go.
Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, Juju Smith-Schuster, Keyshawn Boutte, the
Boutte?
kid, from LSU, and then Tyquan Thornton from Baylor. Those are the wide receivers for Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones.
Yeah, I mean, he goes in there. He's number one guy.
All
he's
day.
that number one guy.
The guy.
And maybe that's what he wants, number one guy, and but he ain't being paid like it.
No.
If that report ends up tracking. All right, let's get to your Hard Knock Life.
We're going to talk a little bit of baseball right here. We're going to preview the College World Series, which starts tomorrow in Omaha. And we're going to break down a little bit more about this Texas Smoke. My man, Brandon Phillips, starting his softball season.
All right, we'll get into that little College World Series breakdown right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Everybody knows that, hey, if you're trying to get a brand new car, that you got to reach out to our friends over at Apple Leasing. That's why they're doing business here in Austin for almost 40 years, because they do it the right way and they take care of their customers. We all love the satisfying, rewarding sense and smell of getting a brand new car, but also it is a really stressful process, right? It's very time consuming. You got to make sure that you get the right price, the right payment that fits you and your budget and your family. Also, the right car for you and your family as well. And if you're, start trying to do that, but also handling your day to day, with going to work, and obviously your obligations to your family, that can be really tough and really stressful. And Apple Leasing can take the stress out of that process for you. All you got to do is let them know the price, the payment, and the car that you want, and they will help you out. They will hook you up all the way through the process and help you get that very rewarding new car smell without all the stress and the hassle. Reach out to them at 512-346-9977 or visit appleleasing.com. Somebody who knows about this very well firsthand is my man, Mike Harge.
That's right. And whether you are looking for any make or model, they will find it for you. I was looking for a specific car, and they went and found it for me, and the price was perfect. And I was like, hey, put me in this. I need this. They got it all taken care of. Even if you're looking for a certain type, whether it's black or gray, the interior, all leather, they will go and find it. Even if you are a leasing company that you are having fleets and you want to set up your company with that, they can do that for you too. Apple Leasing is the best way and the only way you should go if you're thinking about leasing a car. They will walk you through the entire process. They make it so simple for you. If you're at work and you need the car being brought to you, they can do that. And all the paperwork can be done with DocuSign. That's the cool and effective way to do things. Our time is money. And being out in the world, you want to make sure that you're safe, and Apple Leasing will take care of you. All you have to do is go to appleleasing.com and click on the Easy Lease button. Tell them what you're looking for, and they will find it for you. And if you want to give them a call at 512-346-9977, and they will walk you through whatever it is that you're looking for. One thing that you always want to do is you want to make friends in the car business, because they will take care of you, and that's exactly what they did for me. I've been talking to them every single month and asking, hey, what's new? What's out there? Do we need to change in my car? No. Just be careful and look and be safe out there, and they will make sure and walk you through the process. appleleasing.com, or give them a call, 512-346-9977, and they will make it easy for you. appleleasing.com. Welcome back to a new theme Thursday edition of Ball Don't Lie. It's your boy Hardball Harge, and our new theme is, guess what, folks? It's hot outside. That is the new theme. It is very, very hot out there, so please hydrate, keep yourself cool, and stay in the shade. But it's your boy Hardball Harge. You can follow me on Twitter at Hardball Harge. You can follow my man Rod Babers at Rod Babers. And, of course, you can follow the man behind the glass at It's Patrick Davis. We also love it when you're a part of the show, so hit us up on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. And, obviously, it's a little disappointing around here that the University of Texas Longhorn baseball team is not going to be participating in the College World Series, which starts tomorrow as TCU will kick it off. They will be representing the Big 12, but we're not going there. We're not SEC. We're not Big 12. We're not Big 12. We're ready to watch baseball. And if you're a baseball fan, this probably, without Texas being there, this is probably one of the most star-studded World Series, College World Series that you will definitely want to watch and check out. The Florida Gators are going to be there. They're 50-15. This is their 13th appearance in the College World Series. The last time they were there was in 2018. Virginia, and by the way, Florida has one title. Virginia has one title. They've had 5 appearances in the College World Series. They have some stars upon stars. They're a mature team. There are so many different things that you will be paying attention to in that bracket. And remember, they have 2 brackets in the College World Series, bracket 1, bracket 2. And in bracket 1, you got Florida, Virginia. You also have Oral Roberts, and you have TCU. TCU's last appearance was in 2017. Oral Roberts' last appearance was in 1978.
Wow.
So in that bracket, I expect to see TCU take on Florida. I think Florida and TCU will be the teams that will be playing to play in the College World Series, the final part of the World Series. Bracket 2, Wake Forest, the hottest team, the number 1 team in the nation. They have a pitcher that is undefeated. That's right. I said it. He's undefeated, and he will probably get game 1. They will be taking on Stanford. As we talked about, this was the game that Texas was supposed to be in. Okay. Texas would have been playing Wake Forest. This is only Wake Forest's second appearance. And the last time they appeared in the College World Series, 1955. 1955. Stanford is the only team that's returning to the College World Series this year out of last year's field. It would have been Texas or Stanford would have been the team that was repeating. This is the team that is going to be there. You got a chance to watch the Stanford Cardinal, and you can make your own assumptions. Texas was right there. If they don't have that one great pitcher have that performance, Quinn Matthews, Texas was in their bullpen, and I believe that Texas would have been able to make that trip to Omaha. Also, LSU is in there. LSU will be obviously one of the favorites. You got the Golden Spike Award winner, by the way. The Dick Hauser Golden Spike Award winner went to Paul Skeens, the pitcher from LSU. He's amazing. 11-2, 1.9 ERA, 172 strikeouts to 17 walks.
Man,
what? That is what it's all about.
Yeah.
My man Dylan Cruz is the center fielder. He batted .430 with an on-base percentage of .573. He's the star. He's the guy that I think will be the number 1 overall draft pick, with Skeens following right behind him as the number 2 pick in the draft. You also have the Tennessee Volunteers. You know who they are. They are cocky. They are brash. They have a dude named Chase Burns who was throwing pitches over 102 miles an hour this past weekend. Yeah, you heard it. 102 miles per hour. So it's going to be a very, very fun College World Series. But I have LSU matching up with Wake Forest as the 2 teams that will be playing to play for the national championship.
Man,
team.
Wake Forest stats are crazy.
They are ridiculously.
Yeah, they're wild. I saw some of them. Those are some crazy stats.
As a team, their ERA is 2.84, but they've struck out 738 guys.
However you want it. They can give it to you.
They're gonna give it.
Yeah, you want a pitching duel, they can do that.
Yeah.
You wanna play gorilla ball, they can do that.
They got it all.
They really do.
And if you look at their team, they're a big team. These guys are huge. all the way around. So it is going to be a very, very fun College World Series. As I said, it starts tomorrow. I'm excited for it. I'm disappointed, obviously, that the University of Texas baseball team is not participating in it, but I still believe it's going to be a fun College World Series. It kicks off tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Oral Roberts versus TCU, and then Virginia and Florida play the night game. And then on Saturday, it starts back up again, and you got Stanford and Wake Forest and Tennessee and LSU. Two SEC teams battling each other in Omaha, which is pretty cool. And I just wanted to give an update as well. We've been talking about Rocco's Pizza place up there with all the shots. I sent you guys a picture of this earlier today.
I saw that.
They've already got the party started. And I don't even know if y'all noticed, they raised it up to $5 now. The shots are up to $5 now. And Rocco's Jello
Inflation,
shot.
that's inflation.
Florida is already leading, and this was earlier today, with 15 Jello shots already.
Come on.
TCU only had 1. Wake Forest, Virginia, Oral Roberts, and Stanford, their people hadn't shown up yet. LSU, 4. I still got my money on LSU coming through, but they're probably like, man, we don't want no Jello shots. Give us straight-up shots.
Yeah, they trying to get
And
wicked.
Tennessee has 6 as of right now. So we'll be updating that as it continues, but it is going to be a very, very entertaining College World Series. There's a lot of star power on each one of these teams, a lot of guys that are going to be drafted here in the next couple days, which is going to be interesting to play. Not the next couple days, but within the next month. And I'm really excited to watch this College World Series because I know a lot of people don't like it now. I saw some people on Twitter talking about, well, I'm not even going to look at the College World Series anymore because Texas isn't playing in it.
Come on.
I'm like, come on, man, you're not a true fan of the game.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
I'm really excited to see because there is so much star power. And before we switch it over, I want to go to the Smoke. The Texas Smoke softball team. My man Brandon Harris. That's a dude that worked for Texas.
He did.
Yeah. Our guys, the Texas Smoke, Brandon Phillips, his team starts tonight. They will be playing the USSSA Pride. First pitch is at 7 o'clock. They're going to be streaming it online, and they will all be played at Concordia. Not only are they here for the today, tomorrow, and Saturday, but they're also here on the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st. So you get 6 chances to go and watch these young ladies participate in fast pitch softball right here in the great city of Austin, Texas.
I like that.
Yeah.
And Brandon Phillips, man, we had him on, how was that, like a couple
month
months
ago,
ago?
yeah.
Like a month or so ago. Yeah, he's cool. And wifey for him,
Yep.
she's like a star.
She is
in the wrestling world.
AEW,
right?
Yeah, she works with Mark Henry.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So, all right, thanks for Harj giving us a little update on the College World Series, and we'll give you some more updates as the action starts up in the College World Series here in the next couple of days. Also, we'll come back. We'll get into a couple of topics, a little smorgasbord on Off the Record. There's some NBA stuff we want to get to. We didn't discuss Jokic losing the MVP trophy. We'll play that audio for you. Also, AI has now affected Beatlemania for you Beatles fans out there.
What?
It's official. We have Paul McCartney talking about it. We'll get into that too coming up a little bit later on. And update on the Hard Knocks situation. Apparently no team in the NFL wants to be featured on Hard Knocks, but they got to choose somebody. We'll get into that too right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 1049 The Horn. Time to get to another edition of Off the Record. We were going to get to this audio earlier in the show when we were talking NBA, but we didn't. It ran out of time. So here is some audio of Nikola Jokic. Got 2 bits of audio here. The first one is him confirming to Malika Andrews in an interview, post-championship interview. So here in the next, I think in the last 24 to 48 hours is when they must have recorded this interview. And Jokic admits to what has got to be a violation of the G code in the NBA among the champions. Here is Nikola Jokic.
I gotta tell you, I've done these Finals MVP interviews. You're the first one to come in without the trophy. Where is it?
I really don't know. I left in Sparky's room and it's not there anymore, so I don't know. But hopefully it's gonna arrive in my house.
Okay. Listen, I'm all about committing to the bit. Commit to the bit. It's a radio term. Commit to the bit. All right, if you're in it, get it. You know what I mean? That's what Skip Bayless does. He is committed to the bit, and we all respect it. Is this a bit, or is he just, is this who he is? He's just admitting, like, I don't even know where my Finals MVP trophy is. He's also admitted he doesn't know where his last MVP, regular season MVP trophy is. Because he said he's moving and his wife takes care of that, which I kind of understand. I actually do understand that. A lot of men out there who are busy and they understand that. So I get that she just might have moved it, put it somewhere secure, and it's being moved and handled. But he just had the Finals MVP trophy with him and just left it somewhere?
I mean, he left it like in a locker room or in a train.
He
didn't
said
leave it
with
like
the
on
trainer. He said, I left it in the trainer's room.
Yeah.
Like
he went in.
Why
would you leave
exactly
your MVP trophy
he
in
was
the
too busy
train
trying to jump in the pool in the pool with Jamal Murray.
Leave it in your locker. It's yours. I was saying, more and more I'm starting to think Nikola Jokic is not going to play that long. I'm sorry. I'm starting to think it's just, he doesn't seem, and we heard him yesterday say that, hey, everybody hates their job. And to him, this is a job for him. His job is that he's really good at basketball, and this is his job. And then he said later, everybody hates their job. Or if they don't hate their job, they're lying.
Exactly.
So he hates his job. He's basically telling you, I don't like my job. It's a job.
I want to go home.
I want to go home. and some more sound here from that same interview with Malika Andrews. She asked him a question about, him achieving more and, him starting to just be on the kind of the precipice, right, of his legacy. And then he kind of goes back to, there are other things more important than basketball. Here is Jokic.
You're the Finals MVP. How close do you feel like you are to your personal peak, to the best player that you can possibly be?
I really don't know. I think I can be much better, but you need to still sacrifice yourself. But basketball is not the main thing in my life. It's something that I'm good at. I'm just happy that as a team, individuals, if I'm individual, I'm going to play some other sport, of course.
All right, there you go. More and more. He's at the peak, the zenith, the apex of achievement right now. He's just dropping hints that I don't really like this, guys. I don't want to participate in this damn parade. That finals MVP trophy that y'all covet so much, I don't even know what the hell it is. Okay?
I don't even want to do this interview.
I want to do this interview. Yeah. There are way more things in my life more important than basketball. Basketball is my job. I'm good at it. That's why it's my job. But everybody hates their job. And yes, I hate my job too, just like everybody else. He is dropping as many hints as he can to tell you he's not going to play that long.
Yeah,
I can't. Now, he may be also a guy who's like, look, it's your job. I work till I'm 60. Like, he may be that guy too.
He may
be like, because you don't know. He could be somebody who's just like, as long as they're going to pay me $40, $50 million, $60 million a year to play,
do my job.
Then I'll do my job. I get it. Like, I get that I'm very lucky to be able to do these things. So I'll just keep doing my job. I'm never going to like it. You're never, and the day I retire, you are never going to see me in the United States ever again. I'm not going to any Hall of Fames. I'm not going to any of that. I'm going back to Serbia, and goodbye.
Yeah, and I would say this is a publicist's nightmare. Right? If you're a publicist of this guy, you're trying to market and promote him. This is a nightmare. So for the NBA, they basically have a Mike Trout situation.
Yep, that's exactly
this is
what
their
they
version
have.
of Mike Trout. He's the best player in the league, and he just wants to do his job, and he doesn't want any ambassadorship. He doesn't want to promote the game. He doesn't want the spotlight, the limelight, social media. I don't want any of that stuff.
All
I
right,
just
let
want to
me-
do my damn job. And by the way, I'm the best at what I do.
All right, hey, you're a publicist. You get to pick one of two players in the NBA right now. Do you take Ja Morant or Jokic?
Oh, one is not enough work, and one is way too much work.
Yeah.
Well, then you got more
One-
time. You got more time to dedicate to
Ooh,
Ja
I don't
Morant because
know.
you don't even have to do it
Wow,
with
that's
Joker.
a great question.
Which one do you take as a publicist? One who may get a year's
I'm
suspension.
taking Jokic. No
You're
question. Taking Jokic. Easier job,
Look.
right? I'm trying to get that live situation. I want that PIF money. I'm trying to do less work for more money. That's the American way.
That is that
Jokic,
is
baby.
a great way of looking at it. I agree.
Yeah, right? Because your phone's going to be ringing off the hook
Exactly.
all night long if you're doing Ja Morant. Nah, I'm good, Ja.
Rod, where are you at?
Where are you
man,
at?
I'm golfing.
We got
man.
another video.
I got free time. I already hooked up with Joker, man. We good.
That Ja Morant stuff is scary, man. That's a lot of work.
We did
You need
all
a team.
Joker stuff in one day.
Yeah, he needs one publicist. With Ja Morant, you need a team of publicists.
Yeah.
Like OJ need a team of lawyers. You need a dream team of publicists.
You just wake up and you're like, do I get on Twitter?
Yeah.
Do I get on Twitter?
Oh, should I search him?
What, actually, what you do is you do like Joker when he said, "Let me check my phone and see how many texts I got."
Yeah.
People have been that's missed calls. That you
like,
had.
"Oh, no.
He's
Oh,
like,
no.
"Oh no,
Yeah.
Every time you get a collect phone call, you're like, come on, don't be
man.
don't be a collect from jail.
Is
Come on.
this what I think it is?"
Speaking of, yeah, we are waiting now for
Yep.
the Ja Morant news. Adam Silver did say it would come after the finals,
Yep.
before the NBA draft, and we are in that time period now. Probably did not want to overshadow the parade, the championship parade for the Denver Nuggets.
Correct.
So late Friday news down?
I don't think it'll be that late.
Oh, you think it'll be an
I
early
think it'll
Friday?
be
Okay.
it'll be early enough.
Okay.
Lunchtime
All right.
where you gonna be sitting there and then all of a sudden, bloop, 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 bloop. And I truly believe that he is going to be suspended 20 games.
Okay.
I'm going on the lighter sentence.
And would that still make him ineligible for All NBA?
I mean, he's not going to play every game when he comes back.
Yes, true,
so-
because the load management on top of that. So
Yeah,
okay.
I think
So-
it's like 60 games or something for.
So yeah, he definitely won't be eligible.
So
then.
if it's 20, so it's 82 game season. So
he won't be eligible.
Yeah.
He's not gonna play every game.
But it'll be closer to a third or half of a season because you also got to remember there will be an appeals process probably and all this other stuff. So it may because then you can lower it back after the fact, but you can't add more onto it. So they normally go hard, and then if they decide to pull it back, they can, and it kind of appeases both sides a little bit more.
That's a great
But
point.
you can't add on more once you put it out.
Yeah, I agree. So that will be coming down probably in the next 24 hours, we expect. But in the draft is what, Thursday?
Week
The
from today.
22nd, yeah.
So, well, I guess they still got early next week to do it too if they want to do it. But why would you do that when you
No,
can bury it?
I'm assuming it'll be a Friday kind of news dump.
Yeah, that's what
Get
I'm
it
saying. You
out,
could bury it.
let it go, and by Monday there will be so many rumors about Bradley Beal and Dame Lillard and
Zion
Zion
Williamson.
Williamson and
Yeah.
James Harden and so
Yeah.
many other names will be talked about, and they'll be talking about the drafts coming up. and
Agreed.
It'll kind of push it back a little bit into it'll be part of the story, but everybody will be able to have so much more NBA to talk about.
Agreed. And there'll be other sports stories that come out too. So I think he's hoping to bury it. So we expect that to happen tomorrow. All right, we come back. We'll get back into the Texas SEC 2024 schedule that was released last night. We'll dive into that. Also, we'll talk about Texas being the second most profitable athletic department. And I'll get into the all-transfer team. Texas continues to be on the lucky end of the transfer portal. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about my friends over at Ironworkers Local 482 because they're one of the most prestigious organizations here in Central Texas. They've been helping shape Greater Austin since 1935. That's a really long time. And as the city continues to grow and thrive, so do our friends over at Ironworkers Local Union 482. They don't go to the office, they build it. So right now, you're probably looking at or probably passed by one of their iconic landmarks that they help construct, like DCare Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And right now, they're hiring over 3,000 people for a huge project right here in Central Texas. And you can become a valued member of Ironworkers Local 482 and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of this great city. You can accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development. So reach out to them today at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. New theme Thursday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when the Idillionaire Patrick Davis takes some songs that are supposed to provide clues and hints to Harge and I as to what the new theme of the day is, and we got it pretty quickly this time around. It's all about how hot it is outside. The heat of the Texas summer is upon us, so all of the songs are related to the heat, topical about how hot it is. So I'm assuming at one point we're going to get some Nelly.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah, it's just,
It's getting hot in her.
Of all the songs associated with heat, hotness, and temperature, that is among, I think, among the fan favorites.
I mean, it's no Power Station. Does anybody remember this supergroup?
Power Station?
The Power Station?
No.
This was Tony Thompson from Chic.
Yeah, I do
as
remember.
a drummer. Robert Palmer is a singer.
I don't at all.
And then the Taylor Brothers from Duran Duran.
Wow.
So it's a super group that did this, and that was, Something Like It Hot.
When did the super groups end? Because it was a thing for a while.
Well,
What happened to
there was
the
another
supergroups?
run in the 80s with
Of
like
super
them
groups?
and The Firm
Yeah.
and a couple, like,
This happened in wrestling. I love it because it was a wrestling thing for a while where like the great wrestlers would become tag teams for a while.
stables.
Remember like the Mega Powers,
Yeah.
Macho Man and Hulk Hogan. That was a big one. So I do like when they do super groups. Happens in music and wrestling, but it seems like in music it doesn't happen anymore.
No, I mean, every once in a while, like you had Velvet Revolver, it was kind of that, but it was mostly Guns N' Roses with a different singer that was from Stone Temple Pilots. So it's not like three groups, it was
Like
only
different
two.
people, different
But
acts.
now I think it's just their new bands. They don't necessarily call them supergroups anymore. And I don't think people, like...
Basically, it's too narcissistic to be like, super group, I'm a part of it. We're awesome, amazing. Mega Powers.
Like, at the time, it was like...
that was the name of Macho
you
Man
had-
Hulk Hogan's super team.
Oh, no, they had the best handshake ever. That handshake when they're
my
coming
God.
in and they both are acting like there's
yeah.
like they're magnets
Like
that are
some
held
force
backwards.
between them? Yeah.
Like, oh, and they grab. Yeah, it's the best.
It's the
Oh, man.
best.
The fact that Patrick remembers that,
Yeah.
that is.
How do you forget that?
I didn't remember. It wasn't top of mind, but I really got the visual as soon as you described it. I was like,
yeah.
I remember that.
I
No,
agree.
and
I
then,
remember the name.
and then Hulk Hogan had lust in his eyes for Elizabeth.
Oh yes,
It was one of the best angles ever.
that was a great angle. Yeah.
lust in your eyes, Hogan. I see it. Yeah.
Well done with the Macho Man.
That is very
You
impressive.
can't do it like it hurts your throat.
Yeah.
do it all night long. Just gotta keep drinking. Yeah.
Wow. We got to make a promo of
It's
Patrick's
done.
Macho Man.
It is right now.
That's
You gotta lock
amazing.
that one in.
See, that's why I just get drunk at parties and do Macho McConaughey, which is you just.
Macho McConaughey.
You just do because the cadence are the same. So you do Macho Man doing Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused. So you just go, right on, yeah. Yeah, you know what I like about high school girls? Yeah, they I get older and they stay the same age. Yeah, tickets.
That is fantastic. Oh, my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
What have you done up? You've been saving Macho McConaughey till you're keeping that to yourself
All right,
this whole
this is what
time?
happens when I'm drunk at a party.
Oh, man. You about to go on vacation, so he's giving it to us now. He's
Yeah,
like, I'm
he's
going
giving
on
all
vacation,
of it
so
to us,
let me
yeah.
give him Macho McConaughey. Man, you should have brought out Macho McConaughey earlier. Okay, we need Macho McConaughey maybe to have a segment on the show during football season, man. Seriously.
No, it is coming up in the summertime.
We
so
might
we
need,
definitely
we need Macho
that.
McConaughey to make, but just can he make more appearances?
It is.
on
I
Ball
gotta
Don't
figure
Lie?
out more Matthew McConaughey lines because I don't watch enough movies. So I need to find lines from
Oh,
others. So
see,
just
this
stay
is no,
confused.
see, this is your fault. You don't watch enough Matthew McConaughey cinema. You don't know about the McConaissance. We could be now being gifted with so many great takes.
So many.
From Macho McConaughey right
yeah,
now.
because if you say lines like "time is a flat circle," yeah, you gotta. I don't know the rest, but things like that will always work.
From
in
True
Macho
Detective,
McConaughey.
'cause you gotta watch True
They
Detective.
kind of just both have nonsensical ramblings, and
Would
it
you
works.
please go watch True Detective the first season? You have nothing to watch
I was
now.
going to say, you're on vacation.
Why don't you
Why
watch
would
the
I
first
watch
season?
that?
Yeah, you would love it. It's
I
Woody
would
Harrelson.
not. It's drama. I hate dramas.
Yeah, he's a comedy guy.
You just watch comedies.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm with you on that.
Matthew doesn't do comedies anymore.
I know.
He doesn't. He sticks to kind of dark comedy, really dark dramas. Maybe you can find a dark dramedy. Honestly, oh man, what was the movie that my wife walked out on? That was a Matthew McConaughey movie to start the McConaughey.
I was going to say, it was
I
like,
can't think of it right now.
wasn't it recently?
No, it was
okay,
a
that was
while
something
back. It was
else.
way
Yeah.
before, like, Dallas Buyers Club and way before True Detective. But it was crazy. It was a wild one. That was kind of a dark dramedy. But he doesn't, since he got away from the rom-coms,
Yeah.
he doesn't do any comedy, really. He doesn't do that anymore. He's too good for that.
But that's what I'm saying. You can do dramas with it. I just got to figure out the lines. I just have to read the lines as Macho Man. It works.
Oh, man. It does. All right. There you go. That was a treat, folks. That was fantastic. We could do a whole segment about Macho McConaughey right there. That was great. All right. Let's get to the 2024 future SEC schedule. What is Macho McConaughey? All right. You know what? Let's get to it. We'll get to
Ooh, yeah.
he should make. Oh, we should do the schedule game with Macho McConaughey.
Do they win? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, gentlemen, let's get to the schedule for Texas because we got to it, of course, yesterday because when everything dropped yesterday, we were still on the air, and the schedule release extravaganza by the SEC, they didn't waste any time, and thankfully for us, they didn't waste any time. They got right to Texas and Oklahoma, which shows you they knew that most of the hype was about the new additions to the SEC in that schedule release. So Texas, now we know for 2024, first year inaugural season in the SEC, they will face, well, just going through the schedule before they get to the SEC schedule. We'll get to the non-con. Colorado State, then they're at Michigan. They got that ULM game against Louisiana Monroe. UTSA, and Jeff Traylor ain't no easy win. He going to come ready for that one.
What, you thought this was an easy win? Nope.
Don't forget, that game against UTSA, guys, that is a nail-biter.
Yes.
It is a nail-biter until Jade Barron returns a pick to the house, and then it blows the game wide open. And what was that, third quarter?
Yep.
Like mid-third quarter?
That's when things flip quickly.
And he had a bunch of little tricks ready for Texas. Had
Yeah,
that
he
double
did.
pass.
Yeah, he did.
Was that onside kick, too?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, oh, no.
Coming
Jeff-
right out, I think it was right after the halftime.
Yeah, Jeff Traylor ain't playing with y'all.
Yeah.
He coming in here to win. He wants this job, ultimately.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you know why I get that job? I just got to beat Texas. So that one worries me a little bit. Trust me. He's preparing for that game right now. Game planning, guarantee you.
No doubt.
I know Traylor pretty well from his time on the 40 acres, and he's a damn good football coach. Then you got Oklahoma, neutral site, of course, Texas OU. And then all your rivals, essentially, are away from DKR. So that may be the bad news for Texas fans. You're at A&M. You're at Arkansas. Those are your two rivals. And, of course, you play Oklahoma away from DKR every year at Texas OU at the State Fair in Dallas. And then you got Georgia at home, Florida at home, Mississippi State at home, Kentucky at home. Those are your home SEC matchups. That is sexy, though, to get Georgia, which, who knows, they may be a 3-time defending champ by that time. And you get you get Florida at home, too. And
I like
we
that
don't know
one.
how sexy Mississippi State or Kentucky will be. They are those wild card programs in the SEC that are good every 3 or 4 years when they get, kind of their recruiting cycles kind of come to a head when they actually are a veteran recruiting cycle. That's usually when they're pretty good too. Or they get a great quarterback, especially when they get a NFL first round worthy quarterback or something like that. Then those programs are really good too.
Yeah, I as I look at this schedule and try to dissect what's going on with them, obviously the biggest things for me were Arkansas and Texas A&M. That was the biggest thing for me from the very beginning. I was really excited about that. But then you get a chance to have Georgia and Florida at home. That is big because as a person that goes to a lot of games, like
You do go to a lot of games.
I sit there and I'm looking at these games and I'm like, okay, I'm used to seeing this team come here or that team comes here. We've got a whole new look. That is, you're going to a brand new conference.
Oh yeah.
All these teams are bringing something different to your schedule.
Yeah.
We've talked about the SEC and what we all think of it prior to joining it. And now you get a chance to be a part of it. And this year, 24, those are the games that you're going to have. And then look into the following years. I think it's going to be a little bit different too, because then you're going to end up having the LSUs, the Ole Misses, the Missouris again. I hope you keep the Texas A&M. I hope you keep Texas A&M and you keep Arkansas on that schedule moving forward because those are old Southwest Conference rivalries. Also Big 12 with Texas A&M. So you've just, and as everybody always talks about, Texas A&M and Texas have each other's names in their fight songs. So that is where I'm looking at right now. So I'm excited about this schedule. I'm excited about the future of the SEC. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, you didn't even win your conference." It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's about new blood. It's about new teams. It's about new fan bases that are going to be totally, totally different.
Yeah, it's like the young kids say. I feel like somebody cracked open the plastic because I feel brand new.
Yeah, there it
Texas
is.
will
Yeah.
feel brand new in
Brand
2024, and it'll be
New shiny stuff.
Exactly right. Brand new car smell
Exactly.
for Texas. A new conference
Applebee's.
smell for them. And no, I think it's important for Texas, and I'm glad Sark reiterated this yesterday on social media. Important for them to focus on the here and now and the present in 2022 in 2023, and leaving the Big 12 on a high note. Because we discussed it earlier, Texas has only won the Big 12 3 times, all right, in the, 27 years since the inception of the conference. And Oklahoma, how many times you said Oklahoma won it?
14.
14. And yes, I
think it might be even more than
it
that.
might be more than that. I'll trust you. Yeah, exactly. Longhorn fans, stop counting.
Yeah.
You can throw out any number, and Longhorn fans will believe you because at this point, they don't even count.
No.
They don't even want to keep up with it. You're like, they won 17. You're like, yeah, I know. It's upsetting.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, yeah, they don't even care. They don't even care
At
what the number
all.
is. They know it's a lot. And it's way more than Texas, quadruple the amount of Texas potentially. So to me, it is important that they kind of that Sark proves to the fan base that they can compete for a championship in this league, which is not as tough as the SEC, which is the toughest conference in the history of college football. The year before they go to the SEC, how about winning the Big 12 conference, or at least competing in the championship, getting to the championship of the Big 12 conference? And if Sark can do that, I think he will instill a lot of confidence and positive mojo from the fan base heading into the SEC. If he does not, I think a lot of Longhorn fans will come to the inconvenient truth and the unfortunate reality that, well, if Texas couldn't win the Big 12 consistently and it's a lesser league than the SEC, why would we have any belief and thought or faith that Texas would go into a tougher league, the SEC, and somehow rise to the occasion and become the king of the conference?
Right.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. So hopefully, Sark, all gas, no excuses, this season can instill that confidence. Now, I'm not saying Texas won't ever win the SEC. They'll win the SEC, but we want to dominate the SEC.
Right,
We want to dominate the Big 12. Oklahoma dominated the Big 12. They did. It was their conference. That's just the truth of it.
And I was correct. It is 14.
It's 14, exactly. Yeah. And if I had to throw out the question to the listeners out there and to you guys, who's going to win the the SEC first out of Oklahoma, Texas, and Texas A&M?
Yeah.
And the truth is, you have to put money on it.
Yeah, if you had to put a house note on it.
Where would you go with that? You know, I'm not saying you could go either way, but my point is Texas only won 3 of those things in the Big 12. Multiple different coaches, and we all know that Venables is no Lincoln Riley and he's no Bob Stoops. But Oklahoma, they've proven in the Big 12 they've been a better football program than Texas.
Yeah, just to throw salt on the wound, as you said, Oklahoma has 14, Baylor has 3, Texas has 3, and K-State has 3.
Exactly. And you're the Richie Rich of this conference. You print money. Nobody even come close to you in resources, and nobody come close to you in resources and kind of as a glamour city. The cities in the Big 12, other than TCU and Fort Worth, are terrible.
Yeah,
they're not even close to being on your level. So let's conquer the Big 12 the last year out. It'd be very ironic, Shakespearean irony, if Texas could win the first Big 12 title and the last one on their way out, and that would be great. And I think the fans will be confident going into the SEC. But if they fall short this year, come on, guys.
Yeah.
If they fall short this year, the Big 12, by the way, a new look Big 12, expanded Big 12, when Texas has the most talent in the conference and everybody expecting Texas to be a double-digit win team, I think then we'd understand. We can all understand the assignment at that point.
You definitely need to understand the assignment. Couldn't agree more.
We're trending in the right direction. I love where we're going.
Yeah, and I mean, if
talent-wise, we got a lot of it.
Well, and you
look too,
talent-wise, of how much better, how much harder it's recruiting in the SEC when you're competing against those schools. But if you now get a couple or 3 first-round draft picks, which you have not had in a very long time, if you bring that in, that going into the SEC, and you get a Quinn Ewers draft in the first round, or a Worthy, or a JT Sanders draft in the first round, that elevates you going into the SEC as well, because you're not now going into where, well, Georgia just had 5-6 picks in the first round, Alabama had 4 picks in the first round, and you're walking in there and go, well, we got a third rounder.
Yeah. No, you're right. The negative recruiting pitch against Texas, it won't be as strong. Because you can't say, well, we in SEC, we play against the best, and Texas plays against the Big 12. Like, no, Texas plays in the SEC now, too. They have an SEC schedule. And, yes, just like you pointed out, right, Texas is trending. If JT Sanders, X-Man, become first-round pick, Kelvin Banks, Texas will be able to say, no, we develop elite talent into being first-round caliber NFL talent. We can do that here.
It's something else to take away from other recruiters.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. But, like I said, and I love the way the direction and trajectory that Texas is on right now. They gotta finish.
Yep.
Gotta finish.
Yep.
Gotta find a way to win the Big 12.
Everything.
Yeah,
changes the way everybody look at everything.
We can have these conversations, these hypotheticals, and it's great. But I need you to go out there and win double-digit games and compete for a Big 12 title. I'm not even saying you gotta win it, because Texas only won 3 of them in like 26 years. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
To say you gotta win it. I mean, the last guy who won it was a college football Hall of Fame coach. So I'm not even saying you got to win it. Win double-digit games and get there. Can we get there?
That's what we need.
If you can't get there, then
what are we talking about?
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about here, guys?
This all will be
we're about to go into the
moot
SEC.
Yeah, we're gonna just be a team in the SEC.
And get mollywopped around.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I don't think we'll be in the mollywopping, but I think we're gonna be. If Texas does not play for a Big 12 championship, and I think we've all been in agreement from the very beginning, when you start looking at the camaraderie that the coaching staff has now. You brought in a wide receivers coach who just was in the NFL. You're bringing in different types of players, and now all these guys have now had the same voice for the last 2 to 3 years now. You have the same voice talking to you, teaching you, pushing you. We're looking for you to be able to compete at a very high level. This is the time for it. There's no better time than the present. Totally agree. I believe this is the time where Sark has finally said it when he was on the pivot with Ryan Clark. He said, this team looks and walks and talks like my team. Well, now your team needs to go out there and perform at a very high level for you. And let's see what happens there.
Specs text line is lit with a ton of compliments for my man Patrick's Macho McConaughey. So everybody loves your Macho McConaughey. And they're saying this, and by the way, my man TV says it was a good impression too. He knows his Macho Man really well. Also, it was Killer Joe was the movie I was thinking about. Thank you, Specs text line. I appreciate that. And also here is got some comments about our conversation about the Texas schedule in 2024 and whether they can win the SEC. Chan says, yes, this year is the linchpin. Texas, because Texas is his pick of those 3 teams, Oklahoma, Texas, and Texas A&M, that could win the Big 12 first. He says, because we're trending in a positive direction with player development. That is true. I will give that to Sark, man. That player development is as good as it's been at Texas, 10 years. I mean, probably longer than that, 12 years or so like that. You probably got to go all the way back to those.
In on the talent that they have.
That Mac Brown years in his prime. Another texter here says college football playoff or bust. He said, or Urban Meyer will be rolling up in here. No,
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer ain't coming up in here.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah, that ship has sailed. And I at one point was an Urban Meyer guy, and even at this point, I'll agree. Like, nah, Urban. Yeah, he ain't the answer.
Keep it moving.
Yes. Someone says, Rod, we ain't ever winning the SEC. Texas can win the SEC. All right.
They don't seem to believe it.
Well, Sark's got to make Longhorn fans believers.
Yep.
That's what this season is about. This season is about Sark making us believe that he is a championship caliber coach and that his championship formula is actually the formula that can lead Texas to the promised land, but you got the journey through the SEC.
Yep.
All right, because they're not winning the national title this year. So if you want to become a national title team, we know now it's going to have to go through the SEC to do it and expanded playoff to do it.
Right.
So if Sark's a championship coach, we need to see some evidence of it this season.
Come on. Come on, we need it
And
now.
I think we will.
I
think we will, actually.
I mean, we've been thinking we will. I know I've been thinking we will since day one. Now I'm at day 3,000, so I need some help on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think he lost a lot of folks with the first season, 5 and 7. Got a lot of folks back on the bandwagon with the second season. So the third season, I think everybody who is kind of on the fence because either you jumped off the bandwagon after the 5 and 7 or was never on the bandwagon or then came back on after the second year. And at this point, you're like, okay, now I just need to see him build on what he did last year, which means 8 wins is not enough.
Yep.
I mean, it's unfair to say, but no, you got to win more than 8. And I don't even know if 9 will do it. If 9 gets you in the Big 12 title game, great. But if it's only 9 wins, then that's going to mean he lost 3 games, and where are those 3 losses at? And how'd they lose them?
There it is.
Why'd they lose them?
How and why.
And I think a lot of it's going to come back to him if they lose them.
Come on, Sark. I got you, bro. Come on.
How would it not come back to him?
It has to be back to him.
So that's
unless there's just an absolute player tanking type of situation, not them tanking, but I'm like misfortunate play or something happens and you're like, that's not his fault. Great call. Lost the ball in the lights. Lost the ball in the sun. We've seen that happen before.
Come on now.
So there's a lot that can go into it. And by the way, CB said Mac's only conference championships in his entire Hall of Fame career. He only has 2. And they're both here.
Exactly.
So,
Everyone's saying the first one, that's McAvin.
Yep.
And so, listen, I think Texas does have all the talent to do it, but they've had the talent to do it before.
Got you.
And haven't been able to get it done. But this is a new regime, new era, and everybody likes what they saw last season. Texas just has to build on that. Okay, real quick before we get to Raj Around the Day. Also, I like the just since we're talking about SEC schedule, I do want to get to the Aggie schedule just really quickly, and then we'll get to the Sooner schedule. Then we can go to Raj Around the Day. Aggies, they do have a Notre Dame matchup. 2024. So keep that in mind. Then they got McNeese, Bowling Green, New Mexico State. Their SEC schedule starts up with LSU. They got Missouri, Texas, and Arkansas at a neutral site. That's in Jerry World. So all of their supposed rivals, they will play, even the ones that they don't really acknowledge as a rival, they will play them at home, or at least they don't have to play them on the road, I should say, because Arkansas is a neutral site. So that's really good news for the Aggies. The Longhorns have the opposite. They don't play any of their rivals at DKR. Arkansas's on the road, A&M's on the road, and Texas, Oklahoma always at Dallas at Texas State Fair.
Yeah.
The Sooners will also, the Aggies will also have Auburn. They'll be at Auburn, at Mississippi, at Florida, at South Carolina. I think it's a favorable schedule. There are no easy schedules in the SEC. So don't even say that nobody's got an easy schedule. It's favorable because you play all of your rivals at home. You even play Notre Dame, your toughest non-conference, at home. You got your toughest non-con at home. You got all your rivals at home. That's not because Arkansas is neutral site. So at least all your rivals, you don't have to play them on the road.
Right.
They're at least in your backyard, as you said, Harsh, because that one's in Texas too.
I like it.
So the Aggies, to me, yeah, it's like I said, favorable schedule. Sooners, they have Temple, Tulane, Texas, neutral site, of course, Alabama, Tennessee, at LSU. That'll be tough. At Ole Miss, also tough. At Auburn, we don't know what to expect from Auburn. At Missouri, then South Carolina.
Temple, Stan Drayton.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Stan Drayton.
Good point. Forgot about that. You're right. That's definitely, yeah. I don't know. I haven't paid attention to what Temple's building there. I got to go do some research.
They're not building that much yet. he's got some work to do.
He got some work to do.
Yeah, he's got some work to do.
All right, so that's a little schedule conversation. We come back, we'll get into really a study that was done recently about breakout seasons for quarterbacks. Seems like in the last 6 years, we've had a quarterback take a leap into a different tier, to a higher tier of performance. And it seems like we can, kind of track this trend, and maybe we can predict this trend and see which quarterback this season is going to take a similar leap. We'll talk about that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Everybody knows that I am a big fan of Bud Light for plenty of reasons. It is the sure sign of a good time, so it's always a great way to get the good times going. All you got to do is keep the Bud Light flowing. But also, I love Bud Light because it fits any and every occasion. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Maybe you're hanging out at happy hour, trying to decompress after work. Maybe you're just trying to get to the house after a long, hard day. Maybe you're getting ready to put something on the grill. Maybe you're just hanging out with friends or getting ready for a night on the town. Whatever you're doing, Bud Light is the perfect beer for any occasion. Even as I get older, Bud Light is still my go-to beer, especially for my Longhorn tailgates on Saturdays and my NFL Sundays. So whether you want to toast and cheers to a brighter tomorrow or drown your sorrows, it's never a bad time to break out the Bud Light. Bud Light isn't just for anybody, it's for everybody. It's the best way to get them good times going is to keep that Bud Light flowing. So make sure if you want to be the life of the party, just bring more Bud Light to that party. Bud Light is my choice. It is the world's favorite light beer. Bud Light, brewed deep in the heart of Texas, and proud of it. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. We're just talking some NFL in the break, actually. But we'll get back to that because apparently there may be a story breaking potentially in the NFL in the upcoming days. But I digress. Let's get back to it. Speaking of the NFL, so it's a trend that's been developing in the NFL the last couple of maybe the last couple of years, actually last 6 years. And I'll give Summer Sports some credit because that's the article that I read that initially pointed out the trend. Of course, I did some extra rabbit holing, one of my favorite activities. So basically, the premise is, the hypothesis is basically there's a leap quarterback every year in the last 6 years. And based on the rules and based on the different schemes, these cheat codes, force multipliers, all these innovative, very creative offensive minds, consistently building around these quarterbacks and investing in the quarterback, whether it be weapons in the draft or free agency, whatever, it all lead to one quarterback taking a huge exponential leap in development. And we go, damn, that guy separated this year. Didn't see it happening, but that's the leap quarterback for 2023. For 2017, Jared Goff was at QB. Ended up, leading his team to a Super Bowl. Nobody saw it coming, especially considering everybody thought he was a bust. 2018, it was Patrick Mahomes. It was Mahomes' you could argue, took over the NFL after that and became arguably the guy considered to be the best quarterback since then. 2019, Lamar Jackson. People hated on Lamar Jackson, said he should have been moved to wide receiver. It was never going to work. Ended up being a unanimous MVP, and everybody went, damn, okay, didn't see that coming. Josh Allen in 2020. I know, save the Josh Allen hatred on the Specs text line. Joe Burrow in 2021, of course, right after injury, leading his team to a Super Bowl after being the most sacked quarterback to ever play in the Super Bowl. And 2022, last season, hell, I would argue we had multiple quarterbacks have leap years. Jalen Hurts, number one, led team to a Super Bowl in the MVP conversation as well. Got a brand new spanking new contract in the offseason this year. Trevor Lawrence took a huge step forward, led a team to the playoffs. And Geno Smith. I know it sounds crazy because breakout and leap year usually happens a little bit earlier in your career, but Geno Smith had his best season ever.
Geno!
In 2022. And you could
got paid too, by the way.
And got paid. Yep. Straight cash homie. And you also can make a case if you want to, but injury might have, made this an abbreviated leap year for these quarterbacks, Tua and Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
Both Tua and Purdy had breakout years of sorts. Now, Purdy was a rookie quarterback, so a rookie quarterback breakout year depends on your definition of it. But Tua definitely is in that category. So maybe Purdy is not, but you put Tua in that category. And one of the trends that I think you notice with all of these leap years for these quarterbacks is the heavy investment in weaponry around them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When Jerry Goff, has his breakout year, the Rams signed Robert Woods. They drafted Cooper Kupp in the offseason before the 2017 season, giving him some primary weapons in that offense. Patrick Mahomes in 2018, they have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Enough said. Lamar Jackson, that was the one that might be the exception to the rule. Even though they did draft Marquise Brown, they did have Mark Andrews. I think I would argue that they underspent in the on the offensive side of the ball. But I digress. Josh Allen, remember they traded for Stephon Diggs in the 2020 offseason, giving him another weapon. Joe Burrow in 2021, remember they drafted Jamar Chase, one of his favorite targets from college, and he had T. Higgins as well, had one of the best wide receiving cores in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence, remember the Christian Kirk signing. We all really, criticized the
very much
Christian Kirk signing, ended up really resetting the wide receiver market, but ultimately gave him a great weapon. And Doug Peterson really did maximize Christian Kirk there. And now they're going to have Calvin really going to have one of the better wide receiving cores in the league. And then Jalen Hurts, of course, they traded for A.J. Brown on top of having Devontae Smith. So I would argue that if you throw Tua in there, he had Tyreek Hill too and Jalen Waddle. That's a big part of it. And if you want to even throw Jalen Hurts in there, not Jalen Hurts, excuse me. If you want to throw Brock Purdy in there, he's got Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. So if you want to look for the next breakout leap quarterback, the quarterback to make the leap in 2023, I should say, you look for the weaponry around them.
Right.
That will give you a clue as to who may be ready to break out. So here are your candidates, guys. You guys let me know who you think is most likely to have this leap year campaign for a quarterback, if you will. Justin Fields, Trey Lance. If you want to put Brock Purdy in that category, you can throw Brock Purdy there too. Trey Lance or Brock Purdy. Hell, who even knows? Maybe Sam Darnold's in there too. Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett, Jordan Love, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell, Bryce Young. I guess we'll throw the rookies in there too. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. Oh, don't forget about Kyle Trask as well. Kyle Trask, I guess, if he wins that job against Baker Mayfield. Which one of those guys, and maybe none of them do it, but like I said, recently there has been a trend. Which one of those quarterbacks I named do you think is most likely to take a leap?
Which was your first two?
You got Justin Fields, Trey Lance,
Justin Fields is the one
Justin
that
Fields
I'm
is your
looking
guy?
at. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. He's very talented. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks that I was kind of mad at what I saw with them benching him at the end of the season where he had an opportunity to break the record, the single-season rushing record for a quarterback. I thought that was weak by them, but I also believe that they went and got some players to put around him that is definitely going to help him get a bigger stride forward. So I'm going with Justin Fields.
I like that. Patrick, you got one? Out of all those guys?
I mean,
name them again?
Justin Fields is probably the easiest answer.
It is an easier answer. I agree.
Well, just because the
Because he's
weapons,
talented.
like
He was
they gave
trending,
him
yeah.
so many more weapons in the offseason. Like they built that team to actually compete now, and basically he was with no offense for a while.
None.
So I think that like now that you say, well, now he has DJ Moore, Chase Claypool's there with another year, like because he was there half a year last year.
No.
So you add in a couple more pieces for him to be able to throw to. That running game is going to be really good.
Rojo and Deontay forming in the backfield.
So I would say and especially because for him, I think a breakout year isn't like it's a breakout, but it's not crazy.
No, because last year he technically had a breakout. It was just kind of a one-dimensional breakout as a rushing quarterback. Now he's just asking him to add the passing element, which I'm with you. If the clue is look at the weapons around the quarterback, and that'll lead you to the quarterback who's most likely to have the leap year in 2023, it would be Justin Fields because they got him DJ Moore and Equanimous St. Brown is there. You brought up Chase Claypool. He's got a lot of weapons around, and the running game should get a boost this year too.
Absolutely. So
I like that one. And some texters are bringing some people are saying Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's already had a leap year. And he regressed. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You want guys that are going to hit the leap and then they don't regress. He already had his. Remember, he led his team to the playoffs, and then we haven't seen that Baker really since. And Dak he doesn't apply here either because Dak already had it. Hell, Dak had his breakout his rookie year. Basically, he had the leap.
Hello.
Right? Wasn't he the rookie of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's,
MVP conversation.
Exactly. That's why Dak really doesn't apply either. We saw guys who have not yet had that breakout performance. I'm going to go Desmond Ridder. I like a texter here, too, and I like the Desmond Ridder one. I've got two textures, and I think Desmond Ridder – and the only reason I say that is because of the weapons around him. Because they
were trying to get rid of him. They were trying to figure out if they were going to draft somebody.
And why didn't they? My thing was, why didn't you?
Because they knew that they
kept
had
saying
to
we
give
believe him.
them.
Like, why wouldn't you draft something? They must really believe in him. And I'm not saying he's going to work out. I'm just saying out of all these ones, if I got to make a bet, it's a good bet because they got Freaky Pitts, as Bucky calls him. So they got a tight end that can play wide receiver.
They got Drake London.
They got Drake London, an actual wide receiver, right? A big body. They got Bijan Robinson and
Tyler Algier.
So they might have the best backfield in all of the NFL too. Cordell Patterson, a running back that can also play wide out, or wide out that can play running back. Yeah. I think it's a nice little mix, and he may have a breakout campaign as a result of it.
Taylor Heineke's going to take that job from him.
Oh, now you see, but he already had it. I mean, he could. He
could take that job from him.
Technically.
Yeah, that's what I was trying
so
to figure out.
Buy some new Jordans.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he did play in the playoffs though, right? Yeah. Heineke's had a playoff game, but I guess he didn't lead his team to the playoffs.
I think Marcus Mariota was the starter in that one.
You might be right about that.
And I would say Trey Lance, except for the fact that I don't know if he's going to be a 49er for
very long.
I think that they could they've done all the telltale signs of saying how great he is before you make a trade.
Yeah, if you don't consider Brock Purdy in that group that basically had a leap year last year, Brock Purdy would be top of the list too.
Yeah, because when you say weapons,
Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey,
George Kittle.
Yeah. Like I said, whoever's
the starter
for the 49ers, I agree with that. But some would argue Brock Purdy had that season last year. Because he was phenomenal before he ended up getting hurt. But yeah, if Trey Lance ends up winning that job, which I don't think he will, and if he does do well in the preseason, they'll just end up trading him. I don't know if he'll end up being the beneficiary of all those weapons around him. So those are some guys who could end up having those leap years next season. Okay, we come back. We'll get into some more off the record right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. We know Austin is a beautiful city. Matter of fact, we all call it home because we love the unique aesthetic appeal of Austin, Texas. And one of the reasons that it's so unique and the craftsmanship is so fantastic is our good friends at Ironworkers Local Union 482. They've been helping shape Greater Austin since 1935. That's a really long time. And you see a lot of their labors of their love all over this great city, and you don't even know it's from them. Like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And as the city continues to grow and thrive, so do our friends at Ironworkers Local Union 482. They don't go to the office, they build it. So if you're looking for an exciting new career path and maybe you're frustrated with your work choices, you want something new, something fresh, something that will challenge you, you can become a valued member of Ironworkers Local 482 and accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development. Right now, they're hiring over 3,000 people for a huge project right here in Central Texas, and you can become a member of Ironworkers Local 482 and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. So maximize your potential and be your best self today. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a new theme Thursday. That's when the Idealionaire Patrick Davis takes songs that are supposed to leave Harge and I with clues and hints as to what the new theme of the day is, and we got it pretty early this time around. It's all about the summer heat that has hit the ATX. We're just at the beginning of the summer, but it's already hot as you know what, and all the songs are related to the heat, how hot it is, or something along those lines. All right, you can be a part of the show. Specs text line is the best way to do it. 512-337-3776. Gentlemen, do you watch Hard Knocks, the HBO reality show about training camp for a specific NFL team?
One of my favorites.
So you're a big fan.
I'm
you
in
never
every
missed
year.
it. You never missed a
I watched
season.
every season.
I know. Okay, Patrick.
Nope, don't watch it.
Yeah, I was going to say. No,
I
Patrick's
would
not
have
gonna
been
watch it.
flabbergasted if
Yeah,
Patrick
yeah.
would be like, "Oh yeah, I watch it all the time." Well, yes, so it's a reality show HBO does about it. I'm sure you know exactly what it is, Patrick. But the NFL now apparently, based on reports, are having a hard time, struggling to help find a team willing to do Hard Knocks this season. Now, they are apparently so desperate. In fact, they are reaching out to the Lions, who did it last year, to do it back-to-back seasons because they can't find a team that wants to be a willing participant. Now, keep in mind, based on the CBA, they can force several teams into basically being the Hard Knocks featured team. They can force the Bears, they can force the Commanders, they can force the Saints, and they can force the Jets.
I'm going.
Jets, Jets.
I'm going Jets.
Hell yeah.
I'm going Jets.
We all are.
Yeah. That's
Even
what I'm
Patrick will
thinking.
watch it then.
I won't, but I'll see clips. I'll see clips.
But
He'll
yeah.
see what we send him and say, "Hey, Patrick, can you get this sound for us right here?"
Yes. Because I tell you right now, I'll probably be like Patrick if it's the Saints. The Commanders, maybe, because it's just kind of a
They're a cluster.
they're a cluster. And I want to see Eric Bieniemy.
Yep.
Right? Isn't he there? Right?
Yeah,
As
he's
OC?
their offensive coordinator.
wanna
And now
see-
we can really see if he's the
Yeah, I want to
offensive
see him at work a
coordinator.
little bit. Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to see if he's actually implementing something there. The Bears, okay, you know what? The Bears I'd watch. Justin Fields as their quarterback, not their franchise guy. Roshan's there. Yeah, I'd
Yep.
watch the Bears.
Yep, I
I'm with
would
you on
too.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd watch the Saints. Not
You
sexy
don't
enough
want
for
to just see Michael Thomas walking to the trainer's room every day, being like, "No, man,
me. You know what? Maybe we get to the bottom of what the hell's going on with Michael
Yeah.
Thomas. Seriously, it's been like 2 years.
Right.
yeah."
Like, we still really don't know exactly what's going on. He's like, it's turning into Zion.
Yeah, he gets one of those guys that gets when people just get confused. They're like, "It's a lower body injury." You're like, "Come on, I'm gonna need you to
Be a little bit more specific than that. Now it's like,
lower body."
It's lower body. And I was like, okay, well, that's a lot of area. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's a
There's
crazy.
a lot of areas.
That could be turf toe or a
Right?
torn ACL. Same thing.
It could be glute strained. I mean, all types of stuff. Where are we going here? So
Could be a blister.
yeah, I have no idea what's going on with Mike Celsius, but I have no interest in the Saints, but I know a lot of people do. So those are the teams that are in consideration to be the featured team for Hard Knocks. But the NFL right now can't get teams to want to do it. And, man, they don't make the Jets do it. That would mean that Aaron Rodgers, to me, must have been whining behind the scenes about it. Like, that means that he made such an issue of it to the management and to the ownership of the Jets that they drew a line in the sand. Like, hell no.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers would like Hard Knocks.
I thought so, but why?
I think
why
he
would
wants
they
to
want
be
to
a
do it?
reality TV star.
Yep.
He's already basically got all of the narcissism associated
Yeah, I
with
feel
it.
like he would. I feel that's more of the Jets being like, "Hey, man, we want to have a good season. We got too many rookies. Someone's gonna say something stupid, and then that footage is gonna exist, even if you're not gonna show it. We're gonna have to go through the editing and be like, hey, can we burn all of this?"
Yeah, the NFL's got to want the Jets to do it. Like, they got to
Yeah.
be thinking, now we want the Jets to do this because
Yep.
that would be huge. It would be some of the highest. It'd be one of the highest rated, if not the highest rated season ever for Hard Knocks.
Yeah, because
Aaron
Hard
Rodgers
Knocks
did
is
it.
normally a team that's like not very good.
Exactly.
And now you're taking a team that you go, "Oh yeah, last year weren't, but this year you're supposed to be
Yeah.
competing for a Super Bowl."
I agree. They got to make it the Jets. They don't. It'd be
Yep.
a disappointment. All right. I'll check it out on my Max, since it's no longer HBO Max. It's just Max. Which, ironically, I know it's more on that, but no, lost some of the appeal. All right, we come back. We'll get into a little NFL news, notes, and nuggets. We'll talk about Dan Quinn Weiss, Ohio Met Cowboys defense, but also get into some Texans conversation as well. Some of the mini camp notes from the Texans. All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. Wonderful on the Horn.
I was like, good gracious. That's right. We knew it was going to happen. New Theme Thursday edition of Ball Don't Lie. This is the song that we've been waiting for. A little Nelly, little country grammar. It's getting hot in her. That's right. My man Patrick Davis always coming through. My man Rod Babers was thinking about it. He was like, I know we got to have that. Well, ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, you talk about songs associated with temperature and now especially how hot it is. I don't think there's a more famous or at least a more recognizable tune than Nelly's It's Getting Hot in Here.
Man.
No, it's pretty up there.
Yeah. This is not the most famous Nelly tune. This is not the most famous, is it? It's up there. It's up there. Like, my mama knows the lyrics to this song. Like, your mama probably knows the lyrics to this song.
Yeah.
If I start singing this song anywhere, people can complete the chorus for me, right?
Yeah.
That's how famous the lyrics are. I can start randomly somewhere, and then somebody will shout out the completion to the lyrics. It's
You
that
can do it
recognizable.
just walking down the street,
I
just
know, right?
yelling.
Exactly, especially in Texas where it
So
actually is hot.
and somebody gonna yell at you, hot in here.
It is very recognizable. So
Yeah.
it's got to be
Well,
up there.
I think this is 2000, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh,
I
I
think it was
can't even tell you
2000.
that. I don't know if I can tell you that.
I ran into Nelly.
This is 2002.
Okay.
Oh,
You
so
know,
that's,
around there.
that's Rob B's prime. That's my
Oh,
Sex Panther days.
you was out there with that.
Yeah, somebody says country grammar. Country grammar is famous, but like I said, this one was at his peak, I think.
Yeah, Country Grammar was first. It went to number 7 on the charts. This was number 1. Dilemma was also number 1.
Oh, Dilemma's the jam with Kelly Rowland.
I knew that was
That's my
coming.
jam right
I
there,
knew
dog.
that was
I ain't
coming.
gonna lie. That's my favorite Nelly song and my favorite Kelly Rowland song. My favorite song for each of them was when they did it together. That was the jam. That is the song to this day I would make me like a simp at the light, but I would jam it, windows down right now, and be just living my best life. No shame at all. That's a great song.
He also went number
It
1
is.
with Shake Your Tail Feather.
Oh, yeah.
With Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
And he also did number 1 with Grills with Paul Wall.
Yeah, that's what somebody had on the text on. They said Grills. Grills was good.
So,
But Grills is
those are
not as
all number-
recognizable as Hot in Here, though.
No, but they're all number 1s.
They're all number 1s. Yeah, Country Grammar was a good song. I remember Nelly had his heyday. Him and the Saint Lunatics. Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
The Saint Lunatics?
Yeah, Murphy Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he had his heyday. And now,
K1.
and now he likes country. Like he's trying to fuse
He
country
mixes
and
it
hip
up.
hop.
He tries to come back. I saw him do a performance the other day. Him and Ashanti was back together performing.
Yeah, he performs with. Apparently,
Yeah.
him and Ashanti have like amazing chemistry. You know, there's
Oh,
certain
yeah.
actors or certain musicians that they just have amazing chemistry. Nobody can quantify it or explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, he and Ashanti have this crazy chemistry. Apparently, she's got chemistry like that with a lot of dudes.
I mean,
Ja
Ja
Rule
Rule was
too.
Ja still chasing Ashanti.
Now that I think about it, Ashanti
Yeah.
got that with a lot of dudes.
And fun fact about Nelly, born in Austin.
Yes, he was.
Yes, good point. Yeah, we should have brought that up. You're right. That's a nice little fun fact.
He was not born in the 254.
Hey, but he
Born
did
in the
hang out.
512.
Hey,
Lord.
he did hang out with me at the airport.
Yeah, actually, no,
for a
Harge has a
picture.
picture
For
of
a
him. Yeah.
picture.
No, I've seen that picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah,
you
I've
did.
seen that picture.
You did.
All right, yeah, but
Show enough.
Yeah, but yeah, Nelly actually is one of like a few artists out there, rappers who are trying. There's a movement to try to have a genre of country that is fused with hip hop.
Yeah. He also is a former baseball player. He was a really, really good baseball player.
Was he
Nelly
really?
was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cornell is his real name.
Cornell is
Yeah,
his real name.
Cornell. Cornelius.
Cornelius is the real is his name?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Okay, learn something new. A little Nelly trivia on the show
Nelly,
today.
dog.
All right, I hope you appreciate that, Nelly. He's still touring too, because he comes
He's
to
still in
town
the
every
mix.
now and then.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Cornell R.L. Haynes.
what's the middle name?
I-R-L. I-R-A-L.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, they wanted to get a little. They wanted to rhyme a little bit.
yeah,
Cornell Arell.
Haynes. Junior.
Junior, the second.
The second.
All right, you can be a part of the show. Spec Sex Live's the best way to do it. What the hell is going on with Conor McGregor?
Oh, man, I told you. I
hold
told
up.
you, man.
And this is hold up, whoa.
I told you.
At the NBA Finals,
At the
he's
NBA.
being accused of sexually assaulting a woman at the finals. The same finals game where he knocked out the mascot.
Come on, man. He had a lot going on.
And it's crazy. I was just, you know what? I was just watching. What is it? The Ultimate Fighter? Is that the show, right? Where they
The
train for MMA?
Is it the Contender or no?
It's
The
something like
Contender
that.
was fight.
It's-
Contender was boxing.
It's one of those.
Yeah,
but
I'm
you know
with
what I
you.
mean? It's like an Ultimate Fighter, something like that. And I believe he's hosting it this year.
Yep, he's one of
He's one of the hosts, I think.
Yeah.
At least that's
The
what I
coaches
saw.
or whatever.
Yeah, the coaches. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ray. He's right. The coaches. Thank you. It's probably more apt description.
Yep.
Yeah, he's one of the coaches. And at first I thought, oh, that's why he knocked out the guy in the mascot uniform. He needs to make some headlines. He needs to go viral. He needs some clicks so people will Google him and then they'll see, oh, he's hosting this show, blah, 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 blah. Now I don't know what the hell the thing was going on that night. Maybe he was, I don't know. That's
He might have
crazy
been
if he's
on
being
one.
accused of some, allegations of sexual assault or misconduct
Yep.
with someone at that same game. That's wild. I had
See?
not seen it. I just saw that on the TV, so I apologize for the way I relayed that information.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It was like, all right, I guess that didn't sound very professional.
It did throw you off a little bit.
I was surprised. I saw it
Yeah.
on TV. I was like, what the? That's crazy. Okay, anyway, Specs text line,
Said, can Nelly
512-337.
bowl a 300? I don't know. Maybe he can.
Why is that a question about that? That's more information we gonna find out about Nelly.
Yeah,
In
we
addition
found
to
out
him
about
being
his
born in
baseball
Austin?
career, born in Austin. Yeah.
The man is multi-talented.
He
The man's
is.
got a lot of talent.
Very much so.
Did he put out like a picture of his junk at one time mistakenly?
I think it was
recently?
I think it was for Ashanti.
No, remember, I think he like figured out like he was like literally doing an interview at the time.
Yeah.
And whilst being interviewed,
Yep.
he realized he accidentally
Sent the wrong picture
sent out a picture on social media of like a sexually explicit photo of his junk or somebody or some woman or something, him doing something.
Yep.
And we played the audio.
We did
He
play
was
the
like,
audio.
oh, I think he was like, oh God, or
Yeah,
something like that.
he did. He
when
said it
recognized,
just
"Oh,
like
God."
that. Oh, God.
It's a
Yeah.
great clip.
Yep.
Anyway, enough Nelly discussion. That's y'all's fault. We went on a Nelly rabbit hole.
Hey, because we was trying to show you grills.
512-337-3776. All right, let's get to this Dallas Cowboys conversation. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but I would like to revisit it because I think it's interesting. Dan Orlovsky, he may have something. He may have it out for Dak. I'm not sure. I don't watch all of Dan Orlovsky's content, but I do watch him on NFL Live. And they do some good stuff on there. And he's done this season, I would say, probably done more detailed film study on Dak than he's ever done. I would say that. Like, he's doing a lot of Dak stuff. And one of the stats that he came up with from the 2022 season, where Dak led the NFL in interceptions with 17, if you include the postseason, but 15 in the regular season. 11 of those 15 interceptions for Dak Prescott this past season was when the Cowboys had at least 10 yards to gain to get a first down. 11 of his 17. And 20% of his throws, all of these are NFL highs, by the way. 20% of his throws were thrown into tight windows, which was an NFL high. He threw into tight windows more than any other quarterback in the league, and he threw more interceptions when throwing, I think, on second and third and long situations than any quarterback in the league. So obviously trying to force the issue. He's not a check down Charlie, as they would say in the NFL. He ain't trying to check it down. Dak's trying to make something happen. So I do appreciate Dak's, his aggressive nature. Like, he's trying to make the play, but he's also forcing the issue. And what I would say for the Cowboys, just based on my, the work that I've done and the little bit of research I've done in the offseason about Dak and what happened, the regression from last season. And by the way, I do think it was temporary. Don't think it's going to be something that lingers for the Cowboys and Dak for his first, 5 years in the league. He had the 5th lowest interception rate in the entire NFL. And last year was the first year it fell off a cliff. I think there are reasons why. I think that's also the reason why there was a change in play caller. Is a big part of that too. But last year the Cowboys, they had 3rd and long, which is 3rd and 7 or more. 43% of their third downs were 3rd and longs. Actually, almost 44%. So that aligns and tracks with that stat, that they were in 3rd and long a lot, and Dak is trying to force the issue and make a play downfield. And it also tracks, and Dan Orlovsky brought this up too, the Cowboys need to start using play-action pass even more. You've said this too, Harge, and Dan Orlovsky brought it up too, and I even brought it up last week. You go look at his interceptions, 15 of them in the regular season, 14 of them came with straight drop back. Only one of them came on play-action pass. So do it more.
Well, and here's the other reason why. You do a play-action pass, your wide receivers might be able to get separation. That's why he's throwing in tight windows.
This could be true.
There's a lot that plays into the interceptions. And I'll sit here and defend him till I'm blue in the face, but at the end of the day, he had a bad interception season. Didn't mean he had a terrible season. I mean, when he came back after week 7, they led the NFL with 38.8 points per game. They were second in yards per game. They were first in third down percentages, and they were second in red zone percentages. So we can look at the numbers and say, yes, he did this, but at the end of the day, don't throw him into all these different categories, because there are so many things that he did positive on the return. But I know for the what do they call it? The test, or for the click for Dan Orlovsky, he needed to point out the interceptions. Now, I hope that he comes back and say, hey, this is what we saw, this is what we realized, and this is why it led to this.
He did a breakdown. He didn't just break out a stat. He did a thorough little breakdown.
So I'm also, looking at that and saying, okay, Cowboys did win 12 games last year. They did get into the playoffs. The story will be how he played in the playoffs, and that is it. If he gets, if he can make it to the championship game in the playoffs, then everybody will be like, okay, he's progressing. He should be a lot further along than what he was before. I get all of that, but he had a bad season when it came to the interceptions, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't think this season was bad overall. He just became a high-risk, high-reward quarterback. Normally for Dak, as I point out, he's a low-risk, high-reward quarterback.
Yeah,
and I think that regression it's explainable. It's something that we can look at the stats and look at the analytics and explain why Dak threw those interceptions. And I think that's why you got the Texas Coast offense now, which is going to be designed essentially to take some of the pressure off of Dak. They're making life
run the dang ball.
Yeah, they want to run the ball. They're making life too tough on Dak.
Yep,
they're making life harder on Dak than it needs to be. And I think this Texas Coast offense, a lot of the design is going to be taking the burden off of their quarterback Dak Prescott, which I agree. And when Dak was at his best, the Cowboys were relying on, heavy run game with Zeke. They had weapons around them with a veteran tight end in a Jason Witten, a veteran, Dez Bryant. So they had veterans around him. And then when they put Amari Cooper around him, he was also a really high level quarterback. So I think it goes back to weapons, which we talked about earlier. When you look at quarterbacks who are about to make a leap, they got to get them more weapons, which they did. They brought in Brandon Cooks, and they got CeeDee Lamb, who is a true number 1 wide receiver. So I like what the Cowboys have done this offseason, and I do get the changes in the Texas Coast. We'll see if it works out, but I think it's all to get the best out of Dak. I think ultimately that's the whole point. Okay, so to continue our Cowboys discussion, just a little nugget here from Dan Quinn. Apparently, Dan Quinn says that he is looking, and I thought this was interesting. He said he's looking forward to the chess match, at least the play calling competition that's going to go on between he and Mike McCarthy.
Yep.
He said, quote, "You can see it's competitive. Juice is going. We'll have some good battles. 100% excited about it. No question about it. And he is as well. That's kind of what makes coaching fun. It's not just the player to player, but oftentimes it's coaches to coaches. And I've coached against Mike for a long time, and he's one of the very best. So hopefully we have a lot of fun." All right, you put your money on who's going to win more of those matchups. Cowboys defense with Dan Quinn calling the plays, or Cowboys offense with Mike McCarthy calling the plays?
Woo!
I take Dan Quinn.
I was about to say, woo! We've seen what he's been able to do with that,
I
right?
don't need time to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need time to think about it. It's easy.
Dan Quinn.
It's Dan Quinn, the defense. But I would say the defense has, I would say they probably have better personnel right now, too. No question, right? You're talking about the cornerback, Stephon Gilmore, former Defensive Player of the Year, Trevon Diggs. He's an all-pro caliber corner. So you got 2 corners who've been all-pro in their career. That is rare in itself. You got 3 safeties who are considered 3 starting safeties. Not a lot of NFL teams have 3 starting safeties. You just drafted a defensive player in the first round to contribute to your interior defensive line. And remember that your 2 biggest issues last season were your run defense when you lost Jonathan Hankins and Leighton Vander Esch due to injury. So what'd you do in the draft? Well, you got a linebacker in the 3rd round, and you got a defensive tackle in the 1st round because your run defense fell off a cliff, nosedived when you lost those 2 pieces last season. So what'd you do? Well, I reinforced it. I got one of those guys in the 1st round, and I got another one in the 3rd round with DeMarvin Overshown. In addition to that, Leighton Vander Esch and John Hankins being, I think, key components in your rush defense. You go look at Micah Parsons, who may end up winning Defensive Player of the Year this year, and he now is doubling down on him being used as a versatile weapon. I heard another quote from him. I didn't even want to bring it up on the show. 3rd or 4th time now since Dan Quinn has clarified his role. He will be a positionless weapon. He will not just be playing defensive end. He's a pass rushing linebacker, as Dan Quinn said, and now it seems like he is, fine with that role. Or at least he understands now what his role is going to be. But either way, I think this defense was top 5 last year.
Yep.
Honestly, Arch, I think it has a chance to be the best defense in the league this year. The only reason I say it is because 49ers are a better defense. But they lost D'Amico Ryans, their defensive coordinator. All right, they lost a guy in their secondary, Jimmy Ward, another player in their secondary. They still have a chance to be the best. But losing your defensive coordinator is a big loss. So I wonder how much that will affect them. I like the Cowboys secondary better than I like the 49ers secondary, but I do like the 49ers defensive front probably better than I like the Cowboys defensive front. And there are some other teams also. I think the Eagles.
Cowboys defensive front might be getting better. Because of the draft. They drafted Macy Smith, Mozzie Smith. And now you got Jonathan Hankins back in the fold. You got Micah Parsons,
healthy D-Law.
You got D-Law. You might be one of the better defensive lines up front in the league too.
Yeah.
So that gives themselves a chance.
Like I said,
but you got to see it first.
It's only like 2 or 3 defenses that I would even entertain as better than the Cowboys right now. And like I said, 49ers. The Eagles are probably there. Are the Bills in that conversation probably too? Bills are a really good defense.
Because they just re-up with Ed Oliver.
Yep, Bills are a good defense.
Yep.
I mean, they're not many, but I'm just saying the Cowboys are right there in that conversation, and they're going to be better than they were last year. Because last year their 2 biggest issues, as we pointed out, rush defense. They solidified that in the draft, and via the trade market, they got a corner opposite Trevon Diggs after going through kind of a musical chairs carousel of cornerbacks last year trying to remedy that issue. Now they got an all-pro there in Stephon Gilmore. I don't see a weakness with the Cowboys defense. I know there's one that will be revealed during the season.
Right.
I'm talking about right now.
It always happens that way.
Yeah, right now it may be the off-ball linebacker spot opposite Leighton Vander Esch, Damone Clark. I think he's a good player. I like Damone Clark.
I really like Damone Clark.
I like Jabril Cox. He's playing well, too, now for the Cowboys.
And we got DeMarvin Overshown that's going to come in and make the plays, too.
Yeah.
So, the depth, as Patrick was talking about earlier, that's what we got. Texas. Dallas has depth now. You got it in the back end of the secondary. You've drafted well. We've always talked about their draft. So, I'm all in on that.
Texans also, some news with them. They signed Malik Collins, or gave him an extension, I should say, to Malik Collins. He was, matter of fact, drafted by the Cowboys, actually.
Yeah, thanks for reminding
in
me.
the 3rd round. No, the Cowboys did good with him. They just, he kind of got priced out. Yeah, he kind of priced out for the Cowboys. Cowboys didn't need him because Cowboys have drafted so well. But Malik Collins, an interior defensive lineman for the Texans, they re-signed him. And, just adding to their kind of a veteran squad. They're trying to bring in more veterans. They still have not really invested long-term in a lot of players. I think they're waiting to do that until they really kind of reset this organization. And they're on the verge of doing that, especially after the Will Anderson pick and the C.J. Stroud pick. But they're still signing a lot of guys to 1- and 2-year deals.
Yeah.
Like mercenary deals. And Malik Collins is one of those guys. I mean, he was with the Texans this past season. And I think he had like a 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah, they
So
gave him an extension.
Yeah, 2 years, $23 million, and $20 million of that is guaranteed for Lee Collins. Yeah,
Love it.
It's a good deal for him. I mean, he's a good player, but I mean, the Texans at one point they got to start thinking more long term with some of their signings. He is not that guy though.
Well, I think that's going to happen with D'Amico Ryans now. Him coming in and starting to see what he needs, where he's going to feel, and once he gets some of the guys that he's been looking for, I think they will start extending some people and keeping them around for a while because he has the blueprint, right? San Francisco has shown it.
That's what he wants.
And so he's going to try to build like they did in San Francisco. So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
I wonder if they will be in. There's a lot of talk that Chase Young could be on the trade market, the defensive end for the Commanders. I wonder if
it's amazing that he's going to be
consider
healthy this year. Watch, he ain't going to miss a game this year.
Yeah, because it's
the money.
It
year.
is a money year for him.
Yeah.
Contract year for him, and the Texans are a team that's been at least rumored to be interested if he would be on the trade market.
Yeah, and I would assume too the Texans are hoping that if C.J. Stroud can play well and Will Anderson can play well, some other of their young guys play well, it makes it a more viable destination for free agents and for re-signing guys where you're not basically having to so overspend on people to get them in the conversation. So you can go, all right, now we can talk long-term money with people because people want to be here because we've shown we've changed the culture and path of the team versus a couple years ago when they're like, oh, yeah, pay me all of the money. I'll take it, but, like, I want to be paid as if I'm playing for a bad team.
I agree with that because Brandon Cooks, that was part of the reason he wanted out. He didn't want to be a part of it. Yeah, he thought it was just too toxic of a culture. And he's considered to be a company man.
Well, and he was the one who needed that extension just to stay playing, which they gave to him.
Which was a mistake.
But he wanted more money to be there.
Yeah, you're right
and
about
I think
that.
there's just that they're hoping that, oh, hey, look, we've now invested in our future by trading to get this other pick. We've got these guys now. And maybe people, when we're having the meetings, are not going to start off and end with what is it paid.
Yeah, you're right. That's a culture thing. You got to walk in that building and kind of feel a different vibe, and hopefully that is the case with D'Amico Ryans. I'm hearing that is the case, actually.
And again, we always know who can't tamper? Players. Your best recruiters? Players.
Damn right.
So once you have players that want to be there for the long term and they're recruiting other guys in, it helps build the cycle of a winning team.
Yeah, you definitely had players telling other players not to come to the Texans the last few
Hey,
years.
man, ask for double.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ask for way too much money. They might give it to you. Who knows? D'Amico Ryans also said he's not concerned with the current wide receiver group. He said he started mentioning Nico Collins as the big and the best hands, the big guy with the best hands on the team, and also said Tank Dell has been open a lot. So he likes what he's seeing from Tank Dell. So we'll see. Nico Collins, a lot of people think he's going to be really good in his offense for Bobby Slowick. And John Mechie also coming along.
Yep.
I like the wide receivers the Texans actually have. I mean, they aren't terrible group of wide receivers. Xavier Hutchinson's also getting a lot of positive reviews
I'm a
in
big fan.
minicamp. Yeah, that was a good pick for them.
Big fan.
Yeah, I mean, he was the leading receiver in the Big
snuck
12.
into that. They
got him
snuck
late,
him.
too.
Yeah, they got him late.
It's a late round pick for them. And they got Tank Dell, of course. John Mechie. Got Noah Brown from the Cowboys. Nico Collins, as we mentioned. And Robert Woods. Don't forget Robert Woods is there now.
Yep.
So they got a nice little mix of veteran guys, some older guys. We'll see if they can make C.J. Stroud look good. All right, we come back. We'll get into some baseball. Astros and Rangers, go Stros, in action last night. Both of those teams, I believe, in action tonight as well. We'll get into that and talk some baseball coming up right here on Ball Don't Lie. Wonderful down the horn.
Mike Harge here for the Lee Kitchen and Tavern. The Lee Kitchen and Tavern is a chef-inspired comfort food with 4 Austin area locations: Avery Ranch, BK, Belterra, and Lakeway. It's Austin owned and operated. Whether you're doing dine-in or pickup, lunch or dinner, the league has special offers for you. And make sure you stop by and get the fresh chef specials for the month of June. They've also got a June cocktail of the month, the Mai Tai. Shout out to my boy Mikey. He loves Mai Tais. And if you want something to eat over there, make sure you enjoy the Hawaiian wings, the pulled pork sliders, or even a tuna wonton salad. The June burger of the month, the Luau Burger. I'm telling you, make sure you stop by, whether it's the Avery Ranch, BK Belterra, or the Lakeway locations. You have 4 of them, and it's Austin owned and operated. For more information and all the specials, go to leaguekitchen.com. That is leaguekitchen.com.
Oh, this is also a very famous song that has to do with heat or temperature, and that does fit a new theme Thursday, where the theme today, yeah, of course, he just said it. It's hot outside, and of course, that's my man Patrick trying to sympathize with our situation. So all the songs are related to how hot it is in the state of Texas right now. Actually, I think it's a heat wave going across the country a little bit too, not just in Texas.
Yeah,
but
and
we get the worst
I
of it.
finally figured out the smog or why that was. I finally had to look
It's
it up.
in Mexico, right?
Yeah, it was agricultural fires in Mexico
Yep.
that they're doing mixed with the humidity and everything.
Yeah, so that's why it's muggy.
I was like, why is it so?
Feels like H-Town. This is how Houston is all the time, guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Houston all the time.
Yeah.
Muggy and feels like it's a 2-shower city, and you feel like you're about to suffocate sometimes. You walk outside, you're like, man, like how can anybody get any fresh air? Well, where's all the fresh air? It feels like there's no fresh air anywhere. So so welcome to H-Town. But anyway,
In the ATX.
it's an advantage though.
It
Trust
is.
me.
They did say that hopefully it should be
gone.
dissipating by the end of the week.
That would
This
be
is
That would
already
be tomorrow.
because I don't like the heat without sunshine. Listen, I know the heat is depressing enough, but then I don't get any sun with the heat.
Yeah, it seems very dystopian.
Yes, I'm like, okay, I get the heat, but at least I get the sunshine. Heat's all right. I'm getting to give me some vitamins, and it's all good. And no, I don't get any. I just get the heat. It's very depressing without the sunshine to go with it. So I'm glad that's gonna burn away.
Just sweating in the dark.
That's it, yeah. And usually when I sweat in the dark, it's for good reasons, not because of this.
Right.
All right. I want to sweat in the dark. It's because, hey, Rod, have you had a good night?
Yeah.
The
Your boy
Astros
did
had, the Astros had a good night. They beat the Nationals, gentlemen, 5-4.
Yep.
And honestly, they lucky. I don't know if you watched this one, Patrick, but they lucky because Ryan Presley had a meltdown.
Again.
Whoa, he used to be so dependable.
Not this year. He has
No,
not been the
this year,
most
it's
dependable.
not. He almost had a meltdown and gave the game away, but if not for Jose Abreu.
Yep.
Guys, how about this? You're talking about, so first of all, let me go through the little list of the Jose Abreu have himself a game night that he had. 3 RBI, 2-run, 2-out double in the first. Clutch. He had a solo home run in the fourth. I believe he had back-to-backs, actually, because Yanier Diaz also had a back-to-back in the fourth. He was part of that back-to-back, I should say, in the fourth. And a game-winning walk-off score in the ninth.
That's what it's all about.
Jose Abreu, have yourself a day, brother.
Well, here's the thing about Jose Abreu. Everybody was really questioning it. Obviously, everybody's been talking about Yuri, and, man, why did we get rid of Yuri? This guy's not doing anything. He's a professional major league hitter, former MVP. Let this man find his groove, new home, new place. Everything is going on. So his last 7 games, he's 12 for 30, batting .400.
Ooh.
That's important.
That's important.
Last 15 games, he's batting .298. In his last 30 games, he's batting .252.
Speak
so
on it.
his average is trending where you want him to be. Now the main thing that you have to do is you have to start getting guys back healthy. We've already dealing with it. We talked about it yesterday. Talked about Jordan, going to be out for a little while. You just lost Lance McCullers. You still don't have Michael Brantley.
I saw he was throwing the other day.
Yeah, he's starting to do
We're
something.
getting in the
progress.
positive is,
Yeah,
hey, he's
he's
put on a
throwing.
jersey. He put on a jersey.
It's baby steps, man. We'll take it.
So be patient with Abreu. I know Astro fans are not used to being patient like that, but you need to be patient. This guy is a professional hitter. He knows what it's about. He's a career .289 hitter. He will be fine.
They need him because the Astros have no hitters right now hitting 300 or higher.
And he may know some old veteran tricks to help get wins.
Yep, exactly.
They don't need those.
They do
Hey,
need
they
some.
did last night, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're talking about something else. My
Yeah,
bad.
you talking about the trash can or the cream?
That's what I'm talking about. There,
I
Patrick.
was talking about where to run in a base path.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Jake Myers.
Yes, we
Yeah.
got this is so this controversy
This is
happened last
outstanding.
night. So for those who didn't get a chance to watch the game, with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th inning, Jake Myers grounded a ball to C.J. Abrams, the shortstop, who threw it home for the second out. Ruiz tried to turn the double play to end the inning, but his throw towards first went off Myers' helmet. And basically allowed Jose Abreu to score the game-winning run, and he was comfortable. Now, the manager for the
Dave Martinez.
Yes, the Nationals manager was upset about this because he claims that Jake Myers was basically not following the line, like the base runner's line. That he was running outside of the line. Here is him in the post game calling out the officials and the umpires.
There it is, right there. Take a good look at it. Is that on the line? At it? I don't think so. I'm over this play. Seriously. They need to fix the rule. If this is what the umpires see, that he's running down the line, I'm tired of it. Tired of it. Fix it. We lost the game and he had nothing to say about it because he can't make the right call. Brutal. Brutal.
And he was holding up a photo. You could hear him
printed out a photo of it.
He printed out a photo, which there is undeniable evidence that Jake Majors is on the grass. Like he's running on the grass at the time the ball was being thrown. So, yeah.
But he finished right on the baseline. I thought he was right by the dirt. And if you go back, I didn't think it was bad. And if you go back and you look at it, he was going to beat the throw anyway. Like the ball hit his helmet at the same time his foot was hitting the bag.
Okay.
So, and don't forget the bags are a little bit bigger this year too. So that kind of helps
out.
It helps out.
Every little bit helps.
I mean, the rule to me, absolutely, it needs to be discussed and it needs to be finalized. This is the catch, no catch rule to me. This is what this has turned out to in football.
Really?
Whether it's a catch or not, we still don't know. They've been going back and forth. They tried to say that they got bigger bases for these reasons. We talked about how do you determine what's the line? Because think about this. You're swinging a bat, and sometimes your momentum takes you one place.
Yeah, no question.
And then you try to auto-correct it, and you can't. You just got to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's sometimes you can create your own baseline. I mean, there's so many different ways to break down this rule. But that throw, that ball ran back in towards the runner.
Okay.
It wasn't a direct throw. And most of the time, as a first baseman, you're either telling them inside, or outside.
Okay. Based on the runner's path?
Where the runner is and where you get the ball at.
Mm-hmm.
So he could have cleared himself a little bit more and threw it more on the other side of it. But it is a very difficult play. Everything is happening so fast. But the rule, it's up to interpretation a lot of time, too.
Yeah, which is what the catch rule was for so long.
Right.
It's like your interpretation of it.
Exactly.
Does it look like a catch to you? Yeah, it's a catch.
Yeah, it looks like it. Did he look like he's in the baseline? Yeah, sure.
But then we would learn after review sometimes that it looks like a catch, but it's not a catch.
Really not. Right.
Yeah. So that's a good point there. Okay, real quick. Rangers also found, and both of these teams are going to be in action tonight trying to end these series they are currently in. But the Rangers also got a win versus the Angels 6-3.
The Texas two-step.
Yeah. And by the way, man, Shohei Ohtani. I know we're talking about the Rangers here, but Shohei.
Monster.
This dude, he hit a home run, so he's got 21 home runs now.
Yeah.
He's second.
Yes.
In the major leagues in home runs.
And don't forget, he's got over 122 strikeouts on the mound, too.
With a 3.32 ERA.
Come on, man.
We got to be talking about this dude more. This is crazy.
I agree. We definitely need to be talking about him because we did make the conversation earlier this year about how much money is he going to demand.
All of it.
And he's worth it because you're getting two players for the price of one.
Not just two great players.
Two great players.
Yes. Like, he's just an average pitcher and he's an elite hitter. No.
He started the All-Star game and he batted leadoff in the All-Star game.
How are you going to pay two elite players? That's how you got to pay them.
That's how you got to pay them.
All the money.
Hey, I want to remember when we were just talking about running backs? I want to be listed as a wide receiver. I want to no, you are a running back, so that's where we go. No, I want to be listed as a pitcher. No, I want to be listed as a hitter. Matter of fact, combine both of them because that's what I want.
There's no comparison.
He is him.
Yeah, there's no comparison in sports to him because nobody plays both ways like that, really. I mean, in basketball, it's natural, but
it would basically,
even in basketball, I guess the closest thing you can do is find a basketball player who's elite, all NBA on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, if you led the league in passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, and sacks.
Yeah, exactly. Deebo Samuel wanted to go play DB and was also the best defensive back or something. That's basically what it would be.
Yep.
But it's unbelievable. He's on the mound tonight, by the way.
Yes,
he's pitching tonight, so it might be must-watch television.
It definitely will be.
Versus Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers. So
yeah.
Also, just a shout out.
And by the way, Eovaldi has been pitching his behind off too. So
Okay.
this is a great matchup tonight.
And remember the back-to-backs I brought up in the Astros game? There was a back-to-back in the Rangers game.
Oh, yeah, Seager and my man Simeon.
Yes, they went back-to-back.
Yes.
On back-to-back pitches, went one solo home run and one was a 2-run home run to give them that 3-run lead. I believe the game was tied at the time, and the
Yep.
Rangers ended up winning 6-3.
Yeah, I was watching both of those games last night.
You got a dual setup or something
I
at the
do.
crib? You got
I do.
you really?
Oh, yeah.
You got 2 screens?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How big are the screens?
Yeah,
each?
they're all right.
They're sizable?
They're very sizable.
I love how you don't even tell me how many inches it is.
Yeah, they're very sizable.
very
and then I got
sizable.
another one in the other room that I can put 4, 5 screens
Oh,
into
like the pictures
box.
in the pictures?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we talking about 60?
No,
Smaller or bigger?
bigger.
Bigger than each
Hey,
screen is bigger than 60?
Are we talking about Terry Bollea or are we talking about Hulk Hogan?
Well, one's a racist and one is the greatest American hero. So you decide.
I'm talking about size.
Because Terry Bollea is a known racist bigot, and Hulk Hogan is one of my favorite human beings on the planet, and I can't reconcile.
I'm going for Hulkamania, brother. I want the big screen.
Oh, that hurt my heart. I was a Hulkamaniac growing up. I wrote Hulk Hogan letters.
Come on, man.
I wrote him
Are
letters
you like Bucky trying to
as a
write
kid.
to OBJ?
I wrote him letters as a kid.
Oh, my
And then I
gosh.
found out he's dropping the N-bomb because his daughter dating a black dude. I'm like, oh, thanks, Hulk Hogan. I used to be a Hulkamaniac.
Let it go, man.
But then it turns out that Terry Bollea was
Yeah.
dropping the N-bomb. Hulk Hogan,
Was not, brother.
he was not.
I was here for everybody. I was here.
All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap it up.
Some of
Plenty
my
it.
greatest friends are black.
Right here on Ball Don't Lie. I wonder what I know. All right, welcome back. We got to get right to it really quickly. If you missed any part of the end of the shows, please go to hornfm.com. You can catch up with them on the podcast page. Coming up next, you got Longhorn Blitz, then Instant Serious. So, Patrick, what's on tap?
I'm sure we'll be talking a lot of NBA, wrapping up the finals, getting into some draft coverage. We'll do the Instant Serious.
You only
news
gonna do the
and-
one o'clock. You only gonna do the top pick, and that's it.
Oh, no. We all know the top pick.
At least get to the Rockets, at least. Man.
Yeah, we'll get to some Rockets and some Portland and the Mavs.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Instant Series coming up right after Longhorn Blitz. What you got on tap?
I'm gonna watch some baseball, and I'm definitely gonna be watching soccer tonight. Soccer is USA versus Mexico, and they're playing in Las Vegas tonight.
Oh, I like that. All right, I'm going to start one of my favorite shows. I think it's back on Netflix, Black Mirror. You guys watch Black Mirror?
I heard about it.
Ooh,
Weren't
it's
this like
back.
season 6 or something?
Yeah, it's so good. It's one of the best
scared of
shows.
it.
It's awesome. All right, thank you to all the folks out there participating in the show. Peace out to you guys, too. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. We're talking about it right here on Ball Don't Lie. We love you guys. We mean that. Take care of yourselves. More places. Take care of each other. Peace.